The Vinery 1,000 guineas, and it's two So Gorgeous on top. From one Ponton Flyer 620, 320 So Gorgeous, Donna Dior 63, 36 Bravisa, 23 Actress, Piccoline 660, 28 for Blab, on last 17, 19 Nights Upon Us, all-time high 10, 34 Stormy Summers.
Last couple getting ready. So Gorgeous going for the clean sweep of the early fillies races. And the way the pattern has panned out in the recent races, the on-paces are the go. And there'll be speed to take her across there. Actress and Piccoline drawn immediately inside her. One would think are going to go forward, so she should get a run. They're racing now. And Blab began very fast on the inside. Stormy Summers got away okay, so did Donna Dior, Dashing Granada. Going forward, Tenneth and Piccoline's up there forward from a wide barrier. Actress trying to come across. And So Gorgeous not on the pace today. She's about middle of the field, settling into stride. Donna Dior led. Piccoline went up to second. And just behind them, Blab on the in. Melbourne last caught about 5 wide on the improve. And they're followed by Tenneth as a favourite, found the lead. Dashing Granada over on the inside, followed by Nights Upon Us to Ponton Flyer. She's a pretender, a length away in the field. It's Torpedo Gold, all-time high. And Bravisa back on the rail last of all. They're inside the 800. And So Gorgeous had crossed to the rail and led. Shelburne last moved up a neck away. She's done some work to get there. A length and a half. Donna Dior, Piccoline is fourth. They're followed by Actress, hard-ridden fifth. Blab the inside, then Stormy Summers, Tenneth off the track. Next Nights Upon Us, Dashing Granada, Ponton Flyer called on for the runners. They near the corner. She's a pretender a long way back as all-time high starts a run round the outside, and then it's Torpedo Gold and Bravisa as Actress dropped out a bad last. So Gorgeous is being tackled left, right and centre as they corner. Shelburne Lass hit the front. Tenneth out wide coming at him. Donna Dior on the inside. So Gorgeous has gone. Here's Ponton Flyer and all-time high. Ponton Flyer all-time high are racing up to tackle Tenneth. 100 metres to go. All-time high and Tenneth with between them Ponton Flyer, but all-time high is racing away, and all-time high takes it out by 2 lengths. Ponton Flyer, I think, grabs second and a nose bobber ahead of Tenneth. They were followed by Piccoline, Shelburne Lass, and just behind those were Blab and Donna Dior. They were trailed by Dashing Granada, Nights Upon Us, and behind these to finish in the race, She's a Pretender, and then came Stormy Summers, and well back as Bravisa, it's Torpedo Gold. So Gorgeous tied very badly in the run home, and a distant last is Actress. All-time high has come from the back of the field, ridden by Steele, ridden by Stephen Arnold, trained by Russell Cameron to race. She got out to pay a nice price too for those that stayed with her, because they wanted to back those who were going to be on the pace in this race principally. But she's turned in a terrific performance and a great divvy. $9 for Tenneth, Quinella 28.30.
And they're back to the rafters here at Caulfield on Caulfield Cup Day 2000. Beautiful sunny day in the Norman Robinson Stakes is just around the corner. Group 2 over 2,000 metres, and there's the toppy, Ken Reenact.
Yeah, I think it would.
And there they are, Kenny.
Okay, Reenact on Super Tab is at $7 exactly for the win. Sarsen Trail, number 2, is at $6.50 as the top one comes into $6.90. Go Bint at $12. Falls the Shadow favourite on the tote at $4.40, and with bookies, Hit the Roof at $11, Homewreck at $27, Keeper at $5.60, Adolescence at $6.60 as well in commission, and most of the others at longer.
Our punting challenge today, Kerry.
Head away, Adolescence began okay, Go Bint out fairly, Hit the Roof jumped okay, so did Falls the Shadow in the early part, settling up on the speed in the yellow colours. Keeper zipping up towards the front, and Senor Liro from an outside barriers on the improve as well. In 4th placing, Go Bint outside Adolescence, and 2 behind them, Hit the Roof, Falls the Shadow and Reenact. Another 2 lengths behind these is our Captain Corelli on the inside of Homewrecker, and then Royale Exit and Dane's Charm last of all. Up the side of the course, and Luro heading towards the 800s, about ahead in front of Sarsen Trail. 2 lengths to Keeper 3rd. Adolescence on the rail 4th, and then Go Bint with Reenact starting a run around, Hits the Roof. Over on the inside behind them, Falls the Shadow in an awkward place as Homewrecker took off round the outside. At the 600 metre mark, they were being followed then by Royale Exit, with our Captain Corelli at the back of the field. Nearing the turn, and Sarsen Trail in the centre took a slender lead. Keeper goes with him and travels okay at the bend. Then came Go Bint, Adolescence, Hit the Roof, Reenact off the track as they corner, where Keeper dashed to the lead over Sarsen Trail. Hit the Roof's running on. Adolescence angling for a run on the inside. Here's Go Bint and Royale Exit. Keeper tackled by Hit the Roof, 150 to go. Royale Exit blazing on the outside. Go Bent got hampered. Hit the Roof with Royale Exit coming at it. Hit the Roof, Royale Exit are coming to the line. Royale Exit went home the best and just won. Royale Exit from Hit the Roof by half ahead, 2.5 Adolescence third. Then Falls the Shadow. Go Bent Reenact and the weakening Keeper. Behind them, Dane's Charm. Sarsen Trail dropped right out on the inside after they cornered, followed by Home Wrecker and a long break to the stablemate Senor Luro and our Captain Corelli.
And the winner for Peter Mertens, who rides Ken's Joy in the Cup.
70, second place Hit the Roof, $3.30, and Adolescence number 8, $2.30.
Well, full of confidence with this little horse. All he's needed is a dry track, a little bit of luck. I think any horse that you like ridden back the way he was today, they always need a little bit of luck, and he, you know, Peter and him have done the job for us today.
Pace was on a...
Earns your losing fee on the big fella Reenact down the running. He just wanted to duck in.
Yeah, he wanted to charge a bit too. I suggested after his run in Sydney that we put the blinkers on him. I was wrong again, so I said to Jack, we better take him off for the Derby, but look, I don't think they're a great lot of 3-year-olds at the moment. Take the blinkers off him and ride him quiet in the Derby. He's still got a hope. I wouldn't get off him.
I have to agree with you about the 3-year-olds. I don't think the 3-year-old colts or fillies are a vintage year this year.
No.
Perhaps Unworldly might have made the fillies a bit of a, you know, might have made a difference to the fillies ranks, but certainly the colts are taking it in turns. That's a maiden winning a group race there. He'll be one of the favourites for the Derby. He's just broken his maiden.
Riding like die.
I agree with you. I think that the 3-year-olds are pretty average and probably lucky in running might even win the Derby. When you watch the...
No, you've got on the right one.
Tabby, before it's overlooked, yesterday's attendance at Caulfield for the Cup, 45,000 plus, the biggest for 22 years. So it was a marvellous Cup day.
And I had to add to that the track, I thought, raced very fairly yesterday for a track that had had 2 previous meetings with big fields and large numbers of races on it. And they put the rail out 6 metres and the track raced fairly, so a bit of a pat on the...
Tomorrow's Caulfield Cup could finally be the one for veteran trainer George Hanlon. 3 times Hanlon has been runner-up, and this time he's banking on Diatribe.
There's 3 dimes in photo finishes, half-heads, and it's unreal.
George Hanlon. What he still can't believe is how the photo finish of the 1978 Caulfield Cup developed.
R1 going home the better. Taxan fighting on R1 Taxan. It's R1. R1 I think has just beaten Taxan.
Incredibly, R1 lost the photo.
Everyone thought he won by neck.
It would happen again in 1985 with our Sophia. Then, as if to taunt Hanlon, Impazira ruined the dream in 88.
Impazira half in front. Congressman's going to it. Gouchy's lifting Congressman. Oh, this is nearly a dead heat.
A lot of people thought he won. He got beat a short half head.
But George isn't one to look back. He's got a horse on the sand he's believed for a long time is the one to break the curse. The 4-year-old Diatribe.
It's dodged me.
Well, I've gone with Fairway, the favourite, the overwhelming favourite really. He's into as short as 7-2. Last start defeat of Sunline. Last season's champion 3-year-old. I think all things being equal, he should win the race. From Diatribe, whose run was just as good in the Turnbull, it'd be a remarkable victory for George Hanlon. I think he's the danger, and I think Pravda down in the way. Fairway to beat Diatribe and Pravda.
Well, I'm picking Montrachet, the French horse. I think he looks magnificent, and he appears to have acclimatised. He's a specialist at the distance, and he might just be...
The Carlton Draft Caulfield Stakes, race 7 coming up, all the way at $43. Fairway, $6.90. Streak at 25s. Montrachet, $10. Freemason at $17. The Hawks runner there, so it could be a good omen. Diatribe, $5.40 now, the favourite on the tote. Second coming at $52. Coco Cabana, ridden by Darren Gouch. He's having a good day so far. Is into $6.90 as we go over the page now to number 9, Cupstart Way, holding steady at $19. Magneto at $58. Camarina at $18. Ken's Joy for Bart Cummings, $8.90. Hill of Grace at 10s. And Citrus Prince.
Just talk us through your tips.
I've gone for Ken's Joy. I just thought it was a terrific run in the Turnbull where he meets Fairway 4 kilograms better. And
I'm sticking with George Hanlon and Diatribe. I thought he looked wonderful in the yard. Capstad Way is my second pick. I think he's the forgotten horse in a little way. And you can't leave out Fairway, of course. Simon Marshall, he's gone with Fairway, Hill of Grace, and Diatribe. Well,
numbers, if you like, the trifecta from the betting ring as we lead up to the Caulfield Cup. Fairway has been very firm in betting, a number of big bets all the way along the rails for the favourite Fairway. Coco Cabana that I mentioned earlier certainly was the early mover in betting, and Montrachet now the betting, the money is coming for it, the imported galloper here today. So the numbers two
racing. Fairway beginner came to the outside. Diatribe and Fuss a little slow. Celestial Show bounded out. Coco Cabana began running on the inside, and up there too is Hill of Grace as they thunder to the post the first time. Pravda out wide, making a race of it. Camarina and Magneto are up there. Oliver wants the front on the favourite Fairway though. Turning out of the straight, here's a narrow leader from all the way just on his inside with Coco Cabana. Caught three wide, he's still booting forward on Fairway to find the front now. Pravda and Camarina's posted wide. Oh, Montrachet got some referred interference there. There's a check in front of him, he lost ground. Magneto's on the improve. Next is All the Way, and they're followed by Hill of Grace now outside Montrachet. 2 lengths to Fuss and Carpstead Way. Camarina's taken over the running after working very hard, and climbing up the hill, Camarina led from Magneto. Fairway dropped in for a trail. There was plenty of speed in the first half of the race. 2 lengths to Pravda, forced a length and a half to Coco Cabana, who's over on the inside of All the Way. 1.5 Hill of Grace, Montrachet. They're trailed by Celestial Show wide out. Back behind them, Citrus Prince. Streak over on the rail. 1 Freemason, Ken's Joy. A length Diatribe second coming, followed by Majestic Avenue and Carpstead Way, and Fuss bring up the rear to the railway side. And Camarina is the leader. She steadied the tempo mid-race. And down to the 800 led from Magneto, and Fairway right behind them. Pravda and All the Way is off, and going forward too is Hill of Grace on the outside. They're followed by Citrus Prince, Coco Cabana. Round the outside comes Majestic Avenue with his challenge, and then Montrachet, Ken's Joy and Freemason taking off together at the 500 metres now, and it's Fairway going through to again take over the running. Fairway the leader from Camarina, and Hill of Grace has charged up on the outside. They're clear of now. Pravda coming through on the rails, and Montrachet's getting into the clear. Ken's Joy, Majestic Avenue and second coming wider out. Fairway and Hill of Grace at the 250. They're the 2 leaders. Diatribe is coming through on the rails now. 150 to go. Diatribe charges up on the inside, and Fairway coming down the outside now. Carpstead Way with a rattling run, but Diatribe is clear. Diatribe in front of Pravda. Diatribe! George has won it at last. It's Diatribe from Carpstead Way second. Butto for third. It was either Freemason or Fairway. Then Ken's Joy, and they're followed by Streak, and back behind them second coming Hill of Grace, and then Fuss, Montrachet, Camarina. Pravda was next to finish. Then came Celestial Show. All the way Citrus Prince. A few more coming are Magneto, Majestic Avenue and Coco Cabana.
And after 3 tries or 3 seconds in the Caulfield Cup, George Hanlon wins one when number 6 Diatribe wins for Jim Cassidy, pays $6.80 and $2.30. 9 Capstead Way came from absolute last to run second, paid $5.70. A photo for Fairway leads. Now the winner is in black colours with a silver cap, back about 50 to the inside, going to the outside of Pravda here, and out after Hill of Grace and Fairway. He goes inside of Fairway as he goes around Pravda, and at this point, away goes Jimmy Cassidy. He's got a horse full of running, and George Hanlon, I reckon, would have been cheering himself hoarse.
That was a sensational ride by Jim Cassidy. He just put the horse to sleep on the fence. He's seen the previous race, and that was just unbelievable.
Simon, tell him it was a...
Nose at bumper. What was going on there? I don't wrap myself, but that was some ride, mate. Never panicked. Yeah. Very proud of myself. Proud of George, mate.
What about the half mile? You know, they bounced up, the pressure was on. Fairway, we got to the lead again. How were you feeling?
I got up and behind Montrachet.
Yeah.
I go on half pace.
Yeah, travelling.
Oh, geez, I travelled.
Yeah.
Great training performance.
Great training performance by George. What about you never left the fence there, Jim?
Down here a short time before the race, and George, well, your horse did marvellously. What a victory. 3 photo finishes for second. You must have felt as though a life in racing owed you this.
Yeah.
We want to see him.
Yeah. Good. George, the run went to plan?
Yes, it went to plan, but I thought sure he'd run well, because I thought he'd done really well in himself.
Yeah. And what happened to you just before the race, George?
Oh, down the steps down there, coming down, I wasn't thinking and slipped over. I got on the back of him and slipped over and fell on my glass.
Yeah. Look, we'll let you go and see your horse and your jockey, but look, lastly, how do you feel, mate?
Well, Diatribe back and Jim Cassidy, the pupper, is saluting the crowd. Simon, he's a bit excited, the pumper.
Yeah, so he should be. That was an absolute belter. Look, big jockeys produce it on the big days, and Jimmy Cassidy has done just that, so he should be happy.
Good run by Streak as far as the Melbourne Cup point of view goes. He caught my eye running home late. Second coming wasn't a bad run either.
Did know some good run.
And Jimmy Cassidy and Diatribe for the punters. The punters' pal it was too. Sent out favourite, paid $6.80 and $2.30 for the place. Cup Stud Way, well, a magnificent run there from the tail of the field right almost to the front, finishing second and paying $5.70. And the favourite, with Damien Oliver looking for his record equaling fifth.
Wait, that was 6 lengths faster. That's the equivalent than Might and Power ran. This is unbelievable, isn't it?
The thing is that the way the pace was run, Fairway was a chopping block. They all went up to take Fairway on. Brett Preble got a rush of blood at the half mile and took off on Hill of Grace. There was no relaxing in the race. The speed was on all the way, whereas with Might and Power, Jimmy might have given him a couple of rests during the run. But I think the story of the Caulfield Cup, you might think he's half mad half the time. He's not always consistent. He takes days off from riding when he probably should be riding. But he's got about a furlong on them all when he's on song, and that's the pumper. He absolutely killed him. I haven't seen a better big race ride. The patience he showed coming to the turn, not to go, to just wait and wait. Then he got the inside runs. He ducked around Coco Cabana and Pravda as though they weren't there, shot up along the rails, and he got the prize. Jim, you said you deserve to give yourself a rap. I think everyone else does. And all those palookas who think there's not much between ordinary jockeys and top jockeys, well, there's about as much between them as the bloke that's batting for Waverley today and Steve Waugh. And Jimmy Cassidy's the Steve Waugh. He had heaps on him. Good on you, mate.
Kenny. I think I'm going to cry. Cry. Oh, cut it out, Kenny. Well, he got more luck than you could shake a stick at.
Oh, baloney. Come on, Richard. Kenny, you do perform fantastic. The key to winning Group 1 races, staying races, is being patient. And I've been...
I was always travelling good, you know, but the problem was from the draw, we just had to take hold early and slide across. And, you know, I got quite a nice run up the fence, you know, all the way, and just come to turn, I had to come out and sort of wait for me hold open, and once I got out, he ran home really good.
Everyone seemed to want to land in the box seat. There was a lot of pressure on early. I got to the lead, but I had 3 outside me in the front, and I thought, well, I can't keep this up with that sort of pressure on me, so I decided to give him a breather and let Camarino go to the front, and he had a lovely run. The run through on the inside, top of the straight, and thought I was a real winning chance on the turn, but they probably just outstayed him towards the end. But what a great result for George Hanlon. Couldn't happen to a better bloke.
I got a lovely run through and sort of pushed my way to the outside on the turn, and when I got to the outside of Camarino, I thought he was going to pick him up, but he just hasn't got that fast sprint. He just sort of really keeps winding away, and
Watching the replay, I thought there were a couple of terrific runs from a Melbourne Cup point, apart from the winner, Carpstad Way and Freemason, and especially Streak. He came from, well, last at one stage to finish 7th or 8th.
Yeah. And we should point out, Ken, the run of Fairway.
Yeah, I thought Fairway's run was terrific. He was the horse they all wanted to take on. He couldn't quite get to the lead, and as soon as he did, something wanted to go past him. And I thought he fought on sensationally to run third. I've probably always underrated Fairway a bit, but yesterday's run was really as good a run as he's turned in his career, I think, which is saying something. I'd love to see him run in the Cox Plate. I'd love to see Fairway in the Cox Plate. I think he'd give him a bit of swish in that.
Yeah. All right, Carpstad Way, it's the current favourite now for the Melbourne Cup. Let's have a look at it. Carpstad Way currently at 8, Arctic Owl is at 10 with Freemason, Diatribe on 12 with Far Cry, Ken's Joy 15, Oxford Dollar, Yippee-I-O, Enzelli is at 20.
Yeah, Toledo is at $11, Miss Penny Money at $2.90, Easy Rocking at $16, Dandy Kid $23, Paint $13, Honour the Name at $34, Gallopini $8.90, $29 for St. Christoph. Over the page we go to Civil List at $37, Ruthless Tycoon at $35, Shy Hero, Sydney Sprint odds too. Tilt the Scales at $20 and Kamina $9.30. The 3 emergencies were not Jim Cassidy to ride in near the outside. Miss Penny Money went up there. Oh, something's gone.
That's Miss Penny Money.
Yeah.
2-to-1 favourite.
Exactly. Drawn barrier 3. Chris Munson.
She had a lot of barrier problems as a 2-year-old. In a Blue Diamond races here, kept missing the kick, and so...
Yeah, I reckon he said...
I need that money.
This is too much money for me, exactly. So he looks like she's a late scratching, but we'll wait till we get that officially.
The siren's going now.
The siren's going, so you'll find that Miss Penny Money will be a late scratching. Chris doesn't look happy.
He doesn't look happy at all.
Well, it's better at being scratched than if you've taken the 2-1 and doing your money cold, isn't it?
No doubt. Ready to go.
Okay, here's Greg Miles.
Makers, please rule the line. Betting announcement to follow the running of the race. They're away. Camina began okay. St. Christoph got away well. Showing pace, Paint on the outside as they settle down now, and Progress driving up on the fence. It's Paint wide out, Camina in the middle. Over on the inside, Progress, Easy Rocking not far off them. They're Shy Hero, well back, Ruthless Tycoon, Civil List and Toledo. Paint in the centre, the leader from Easy Rocking the outside as they swing around the corner. Next Camina, and they're followed by Dandy Kids and Christoph. Pulled out wide as Honour the name. Progress trying to push into the clear as they swing the corner and then tilt the scales in the straight. Easy Rocking Paint with Camina on the fence and Progress running on. And St. Christoph to the outside. Camina down on the inside is the leader. Easy Rocking coming after Camina. Camina from Easy Rocking and Paint, then Gallopini. It's Camina clear though, and Camina for Gerald Ryan wins it by 2. Easy Rocking. Photo third. It's either Paint or Gallopini. Just behind those then came Tilt the Scales wide out. And then Progress, and behind those Dandy Kid and Suit. They were followed then by Shy Hero, who never came into it. Civil List and St. Christoph from Petersburg.
The dividend confirmed at $3.10 a place for Paint. Eddie, take it away.
Out of the mare by the ill-fated Star Watch. Now,
Jimmy Cassidy, I reckon, would have got a shock in that race. I backed him on Easy Rocking because I thought they'd go absolutely hammer and tong out in front. They'd all take each other on. As you could see, coming to the turn, everyone was holding up. And, Jim, I bet you thought there'd be more speed than that.
Well, I thought they'd come out with a wing on every foot, which they normally do in them 1100s. But he really travelled good, my bloke. I reckon he'll improve with that run, Ken. Going into the Salinger, another Group 1, I think he'd be competitive. It was a really good run by him yesterday, I thought. Really different too yesterday.
I think we're all waiting for a star sprinter too, because, you know, a lot of these horses that went around in this have been going around for years and have been going around a lot this season, and they've been, you know, taking a few turns at winning it. And I think we're...
She's got a fantastic record, this mare, in Queensland. She ran a course record yesterday. And you couldn't deny the win to...
The fly in the ointment, we'll see him later on in Sydney, but he was really going to be set for the Guineas, and it's for him to run in the Salinger is sort of second choice.
Yeah, he's been...
1400. And away they go. Wildor began okay. Bumbleina a little slow to bound out of the stalls, and away quickly is Spice Doll on the inside. Into stride quickly is Pace Invader, and Fellowship's right up there outside the lead. Marion up second there. Next is Wildor, and they're followed then by Love's Choice and Ruralism and Bumbleina last. 700 to go. Spice Doll by 2, Lady Marion 2, Romano Star in third. Cryptavia's fourth on the inside, and then Pace Invader as they go by the 600-metre mark, nearing the home turn. Comedy Court the outside. 2 to Tickle My Parita. Wonder Wildor, followed by Hurler Wonder going through on the inside. It's Platonic. Hurler Wonder going through on the inside. It's Platonic, spotting them a fair start from Fellowship, and then to Arcia, Bumbleina, Love's Choice and Ruralism as they corner where Spice Doll flattened for the run-in, kicked away by 2 lengths to Lady Marion. Cryptavia's coming home, so is Romano Star. Pace Invader, the grey wider out, and now it's Platonic trying to get into the clear. Spice Doll, Lady Marion, Romano Star and Pace Invader on their outside. Spice Doll with Lady Marion and Romano Star. Spice Doll, Lady Marion down to the line, they hit it. Nothing in this between Lady Marion, Spice Doll and close up Pace Invader from Bumbleina on their outside. A terrific finish to the last. Romano Star right behind them from Cryptavia, and then came Perito, Ruralism and Fellowship back towards the tail with Comedy Court last of all. Stand by for photos here all round. It's a great finish. Or maybe Lady Marion in the middle. You wouldn't believe it. Stand by for numbers. Lady Marion's in the middle. Pace Invader, the grey is on the...
At Moonee Valley, this is the Cup. Pastor gets the top rating, number 13, from 15, 4 and 18. 820 Yippee. Bohemoth, number 3, 960. The Hind, 950. Over then we go to Pastor. Bruise in the market, 2, number 10 at $5.70. Pastor Express, 460. Yammer, $7.60. Behind the boxes.
Yippee-yo-yo, no Jim Cassidy tonight, of course, following a little bit of tension between the Denham stable and Mr. Cassidy. Change of jockey, loses nothing, of course, with Damien Oliver. His run in the Herbert Power was terrific. Must be included.
Give us your numbers.
My numbers, Brendan, are 10 to beat 4 and 18.
And tell us why.
Brew.
And tell us why.
Brew, I think he's got the score on the board, particularly here on this relatively unusual surface, the sandy base strat there. He's well...
Last year, the big fellow Yippee-Yi-Yo linking into a gate near the outside. Amber Lyle tried as Pastor Express, who was runner-up in the Metrop. They're off in the Cup now, and here's Ronnie over near the outside, one of the first to bounce out. Pastor Express got away well, and so did Sheer Kingston. Ancient City not far off them. Yammer down near the inside with Crystalero and the pink sleeves pushing up on the rail, followed by Cronus, and then Blue Murder, followed by, back behind them as Ultra Smug as they came to the turn the first time. Behemoth well back, so is Royal Caliph, Brew, Yippee-Yi-Yo, and back last of all is the Hind. Tempo only, set by ears Ronnie. Ultra Smug, the grey, a length away second. Pastor Express is third on the outside of Crystalero. They're trailed by Cronus up fifth round the outside of Yammer as they go down the back. Sheer Kingston between horses. Behemoth has been posted three wide the trip. Ancient City next with Blue Murder, and they're followed by Brew, Royal Caliph, and back to the tail end of the field is Yippee-Yi-Yo, and something's wrong with the Hind. He's been pulled out of the race. The Hind has been pulled out. 1,000 to run as they came up the side now, nearing the 700 metres, and it's Ears Ronnie from Ultra Smug. Here are the runs from the back. Yammer's let loose and he's charging out after this leader. Going with him is Cronus, and Brew starting to work home. Pastor Express behind them's under the whip now, and then came Behemoth, and here's Yippee-Yi-Yo as they got to the turn, and it's Cronus racing up with Yammer. Brew's after them, and so is Yippee-Yi-Yo running on in the white colours. He's got up to fourth with a gap to Behemoth as they neared the corner, and Brew raced up and took the lead. Now it's Brew from Yammer the inside, Cronus and Yippee-Yi-Yo. Brew the leader, Yippee-Yi-Yo a big danger coming after him. Brew about a length in front of Yippee-Yi-Yo, 100 out. Brew's giving something. Yippee-Yi-Yo starting to lift now. Yippie's getting up to Brew. Yippee-Yi-Yo got to the lead. Yippee-Yi-Yo! He's won it a long head to Brew second. Cronus 3 lengths away third. He was runner-up last year. They're trailed by Behemoth, Yammer and Ears Ronnie. Next is Ancient City, followed by Royal Caliph, Crystalero. Pastor Express knocked right up. Back behind them to finish is Blue Murder, and they're trailed by Ultra Smug. Sheer Kingston a distant last. He's right out of form, and the Hind was pulled up in the back straight.
Up in the grandstand up there. Melbourne Cup now, mate?
Yeah, well, that's his next race. You know, this is a great lead-up race. We were a little bit worried about the Valley, but we had a great jockey on.
You were a bit disappointed a few years ago when you brought him down here, but it looks like you're going to make up for it.
Well, we surely hope so. You know, we'd have loved to have him here fit and well then, but who knows.
Alan, all the best. Go and celebrate a great moment.
Thank you very much.
Alan Denham.
Again, he's looking for that 3,200 metres on the first Tuesday of November. Moonee Valley, Yippee-Yi-Yo, $8.50, $2.70. Brew looked the winner a long way out, $2.30, and Cronus, an excellent staying performance once again. What a terrific...
Well, what a grand old horse he's been, Yippee-Yi-Yo. He's an old-timer now, but he's racing in probably the best form of his career since he was 3. So good luck to him. He battled on really strongly. Brew put up a good performance, but old Yippee just had his measure.
Well, they love him down here. It's probably his name, the Yippee-Yi-Yo. You could hear Greg really put some emphasis onto that. He's probably not without a chance in the Melbourne Cup. He was ridden by Ollie on Thursday night. I think the chant went up at the Valley, didn't it? Ollie, 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 oi, oi, oi on Yippee-Yi-Yo?
I hope not.
Oh.
Hey,
really
who are the likely riders for Yippee-Yi-Yo?
I think Ronnie's right. I think Paddy Payne on Scalato will go forward and perhaps be running third or fourth today and cause a little bit of a surprise. Saab Century, Ronnie's horse second.
6 minutes away. Sky Rating, Scalato on the Amy Vars, rating 100 ahead of all-time high 97, Universal Prince 90 and Sale of Century 90. Market, Scalato 280, Universal Prince 510, Phoenix Park 15, Sale of Century 570, The Storm out, Centurion out, and all-time high winner of the 1,000 guineas recently at $5.
Line up Scalato's favourite. They're away and show at the beginning reasonably over on the outside only was Sale of Century. He's going to snag across them early. Phoenix Park the first to bound out, and he's leading in the early part. Phoenix Park from Vampire and Scalato right on the pace today.
And he's up vying for the lead. Just behind them, Shot of Thunder is fourth, turning out of the straight, then All Time High. They've got away on Universal Prince, Make Me a Miracle, and Sail of Century last of all by the 1,600 metres. The leaders have been Prince over on the rail next to last, and Sail of Century whipped them in. About to go to the 800 turn, it's Scalato about a neck clear. Phoenix Park second, a length and a half away Vampire. Shot of Thunder's had a good trail fourth the inside. All Time High's had a good run fifth on the outer within 4 or 5 of the leader. They're followed by Universal Prince over on the inside of Make Me a Miracle, and two to Sail of Century as they came up the side. And Scalato is the leader. He's about a neck clear from Phoenix Park. Vampire hard ridden. Shot of Thunder about to get into the clear. All Time High is next, and then Universal Prince, Sail of Century spotting them a long start at the turn, and Make Me a Miracle as they came round the turn. And Scalato, does he travel? He leads by more than a length. He hasn't been asked for the big run yet. Universal Prince got into a clear second. Phoenix Park gone, then Shot of Thunder. Sail of Century making some ground. Scalato in front. Universal Prince the only danger. Scalato by 3/4 to Universal Prince, 100 out. Scalato's holding him at bay at the moment. Scalato under the whip, about a length in front of Universal Prince and the Guineas winner. Scalato by a length and a quarter. Virtually all the way. Scalato over Universal Prince. Sail of Century's done very well to get into third. Then came Shot of Thunder, All Time High, Vampire, Phoenix Park, and Something Wrong with Make Me a Miracle. He's just walked down the straight, hasn't completed the course.
And a win to number 1, Scalato, beautifully ridden by Paddy Payne. He knew what he was doing.
He might hit the nail on the head. He relaxes better in front, you were saying too.
He relaxed a lot better in front today. Yep. When he sees his horse on his outside, he's a bit inclined to want to race them. Yep. Once he gets his own way, half length in front, where he can't see the rest of the field with his blinkers on, he relaxed beautiful.
What about the horse's improvement, Pat?
Derby next week because they were 100 yards ahead of Sail of Century. Scalato did it the tough way. He over-raced. He led by about a half length on the outside of the other horse. But why couldn't Scalato bowl along and lead in the Victoria Derby if need be?
I don't see a reason why he probably couldn't. I think Paddy took a bit of a risk the way he rode that horse. The risk being you ride that way and back your judgment, which Paddy did, that the track was playing that way and that he needed to ride in that way. The risk is if you get beaten, you get sacked off the horse. And I don't think there's any doubt that if he'd got beaten, Paddy would have got the sack, because Clary was clearly not enthused about the ride. But having said that, he did take a risk and it came off, and all credit to Paddy for that.
When Universal Prince peeled out, Richard, I thought he was going to gather in Scalato. Yeah. This was his first run at Moonee Valley. He's not suited by the rain-affected going. I think he'll beat Scalato in the Derby.
I think you're possibly right there. I think the one thing that can beat Scalato in the Derby is possibly a very firm track. Now, Scalato's best form so far, and it's not a lot of it, has been on soft going. And
traditional lead-up race, the Amy Vars
77, Super Elegant 77. Here's the market. Falvalon shooting for 10 out of 15, $1.30. Notoire 17. Honour the Name 12, Padstow 34, and Super Elegant $7.80.
Racing now, Falvalon again well on the yellow cap over near the outside. Notoire goes with him. Amber Run jumped out fast. Benazee dropped out last. As they settle down, Notoire drives up and takes a slender lead. Falvalon a neck away second. Amber Run trapped out 3 wide third, and 4 lengths to Benazee. Notoire through the gap led from Falvalon, a length to Amber Run. Oamaru Rhythm wide out. In behind them, Super Elegant getting through on the rails, and they're followed by Runs to Win. Honour the Name spotting them a fair start as they corner. It's Notoire just in front of Falvalon. They kick away. They've raced 3 lengths now to Super Elegant. Runs to Win and Amber Run, but Oliver's confident. He shot a look over his shoulder on Falvalon and then shot Falvalon to the lead over Notoire, followed by Super Elegant, but the favourite opens up in the last 100, and the Queenslander Falvalon racing away to win it by 2 lengths and won it easily over Notoire. Super Elegant's run third, then came Honour the Name, Runs to Win and Padstow. A break to Benazee, Oamaru Rhythm and Amber Run last in.
Well, he had a bit on them. It looked that way before the race, and that
wouldn't know he's gone around, Dame.
No, he could go around again, Simon. I tell you what, it's money for jam riding this bloke.
Yeah, he just pulls up on the winning post there, knows he's got his race won.
You know, he's a real professional. I haven't won races as easy as that since I was riding Scalacci, I don't think.
Oh, it's a big call, Dame. Now the question beckons, has the track improved enough for Shogun Lodge in the Cox Plate?
I don't think so, mate. I think it's going to be difficult for him. Track's still it is still slow. They're getting into it a bit. Seems to be favouring the on-pace runners, so horses like Sky Heights and Sunline are going to be hard to beat.
All right, mate.
250, Super Elegant 170, Quinella 750 in the trifecta, 27.
Works, does it? No, it doesn't always work that way.
He'll be the horse to beat, of course, in the Salinger. He's won 10 of 15 starts. Damien Oliver should have been fined for staring yesterday. Have a look at Ollie in the straight. That's him on Felvalon in the Yellow Cup, moving up on the outside. It was reported this morning that he had a sustained peep. That's not a peep, that's a stare, and there's another one. That was the ease with which Felvalon won. It also must be said that different opposition will be facing Felvalon in the Salinger.
Yeah, it'll be a bit tougher for him, but he's the most professional little racehorse. He's a fabulous little racehorse, so he seems to go on any conditions, any ground, any shape track, any direction. You know, I just think he's a really great little sprinter.
I agree.
They make legends in this race.
Treasure races into equine immortality.
Names forever etched in the history of the turf.
Taggart wins the Cox Plate ahead to Mahogany.
The Cox Plate has crowned kings and conquerors
Might and power, the big champ joins the greats of the turf.
and queens.
Sunline will hold on and win all the way.
Tomorrow we find out if history repeats.
In of a coronation for the Queen of the Turf will be crowned as the greatest race mare of all time. To do that, she'll have to beat the best field assembled since 1992 when Superimposed saluted, and that's the way it should be for the Weight for Age Championship of Australasia. As we look online.
I think this is the biggest challenge she's yet faced in her career. There's outside her, there's 28 Group 1 winners, some of which have been set exclusively for this race last year. They weren't last year. Tie the Knot, Sky Heights, two great examples, and they're the two greatest dangers to her tomorrow. She's got to overcome a rain-affected track and run out a strong 2,000 metres. All those factors combined mean that she will have to be every bit as good as we think she is to win the race again this year.
W Cox Plate tomorrow at Moonee Valley. I've gone 6-1 with Tie the Knot, a little bit of the forgotten horse here with a great chance. 13-4 Sky Heights, been from 4s into 13-4, a lot of money for it. 100 Shogun Lodge, again on a dry track, I think you get 6-1 Shogun. Gone 12-1 Diatribe, 5-4 Sunline, clearly the horse to beat, a lot of money for it. Gone 125-1 Beat.
The eyeball-to-eyeball that you mentioned, that's exactly what he intends to do, providing Sky Heights can get away from the gates, and that's the proviso. Sky Heights doesn't get away, all those plans go out the window, but he's certainly not going to let Sunline get too far away.
She won't be 2 lengths in front of me having an easy run, I'll give you the tip. They can really stick it to any horse over 2,000 metres, whether it be Sunline, Tie the Knot, Shogun Lodge, Test to Race, all those good horses in the race.
And Shogun Lodge has got a brilliant turn of foot. And to show that turn of foot that he possesses, he's got to have a good track to do it.
In your heart, do you rate him a real winning chance? Yes, I do, yes. You know, it's a luck plays a big part of it as well, but yeah, I think he's one of the ones that can win, yes.
15 Lawson's right, Testaross's owner, John Capellan, well, he's promised.
I think each way, there's no way he'll miss a place, and I'm tipping him very strongly to beat Sunline, and for third, I think maybe Sky Heights to beat Sunline for me.
Well, I agree with you with the Quinella. Sky Heights for me from Sunline. I'm throwing Diatribe in for third. There are 9...
Third call for the WS Cox Plate, which is creeping closer. It's 26 minutes away. Testarossa and Sunline, joint top raters 100. Tie the Knot 97 and Sky Heights 97. Tie the Knot $6.70 with $1.6 million in the win pool. Number 2 Sky Heights $5.10. 3 The Message 50 cents, $16. 9 Diatribe 16. Sunline is a rock solid favourite $2.80. Beat the Fade.
They're not going into the race, but I'm a bit dismayed with the way Moonee Valley's playing at the moment. So I think Sky Heights and Sunline may well fight it out the way the track's.
Yes, still shorter in New South Wales. $4.90 Sky Heights, $65 The Message, $100. Testarossa $9.40. Shogun Lodge at $14. Over the page we go to Diatribe at $17. Sunline $2.50. A clear-cut favourite. $38 Beat the Fade. I thought you...
Same trifecta from last year, Simon. 10 Sunline, 1 Tie the Knot, 2 Sky Heights.
Yes, well, I've gone a bit different. I'm sticking with Kenny and Tie the Knot, Sunline and Sky Heights. So it's going to be a wonderful race.
They're ready to jump in the Cox Plate. And away. Sky Heights missed it by a length. Sunline flew out of the gates on the outside. Tie the Knot, Scusi Please, both away quickly. Testarossa, Fubu show pace. Shower Heart dropped in behind them. Scusi Please, a surprise leader from the Message at the post, will have to go. Sunline third, trapped out around Fubu. Testarossa right behind them, leaving the straight now. Then Referral and Shower Heart on the rail. And back behind those horses as they settle into stride is Sky Heights off 4 wide by the 1,600 metres from Diatribe, and then came Beat the Fade, Tie the Knot, one of the last, and behind it Oliver Twist, and Shogun Lodge dropped out to last. Up the side in the Message, the leader, about 1,400 to go in the Cox Plate, almost a length on Sunline, staying well away from the rail. Scusi Please let them go and sat 2.5 lengths away, third pace right on here. 2 lengths Testarossa and Fubu together. Sky Heights 3 wide, a little better than midfield. Then a length Referral. Shower Heart the inside, 1.5 behind them, Tie the Knot. He's followed by Beat the Fade. Well back is Diatribe on the inside. Second last is Shogun Lodge by the 1,000 metres, and Oliver Twist is now last of all. At the 800 metres, and the Message joined by Sunline. 2 Scusi Please, 2 to Sky Heights, 3 deep all of the way over on the outside at the 800 metres turn, where Sunline had drawn about a half length in front now. Fubu between runners, and then Testarossa. Well back is Referral, Tie the Knot, Beat the Fade. Shower Heart a long way back from Diatribe, Shogun Lodge and Oliver Twist, but by the 600 metres, and Sunline raced about 3 lengths in front here from Scusi Please going to second, Testarossa to third. Then the Message who's gone. She's going to take some beating, this great mare. Next is Diatribe. Nothing's making ground on her. She's away, Sunline. She leads by 4 lengths. The champion New Zealand mare has raced away in the Cox Plate. Diatribe and Referral are running onto the placings, followed by Testarossa and then Scusi Please. But the champion mare is going to kill them. She's 5 in front, Sunline, and a piece of racing history. Back-to-back Cox Plates for the champion mare, Sunline. She's won it by 6 lengths easily. Photo the Miners, Diatribe or Referral, nothing between them. Then came Scusi Please and Oliver Twist from Testarossa, Fubu. Back behind them, the Message, Shower Heart, Tie the Knot, Shogun Lodge, Sky Heights second last, Beat the Fade as last. It's the most comprehensive win in the Cox Plate, probably since Dulcify towed them back in 79.
And that's correct, Greg Miles, and there she is. Have a look at her. The greatest stake-winning horse in Australian history. Her prize money is now $6,334,266. And what a horse.
What a horse, yeah, that's right. You know, all the pressure was on her today, but she didn't fold when the pressure was on. She just blew them away.
Yeah, from a wide barrier, a lot of pressure on her. They were all out together, and in the end it was her and then Daylight.
Settled well, yeah, today. Great ride by Greg. You know, he took it to them again like he did last year, and it's hard to realise, you know, just how good these horses have to be to put a margin on them like that. See, this is a mare called Maybe Mahal, and I think she equalled her in Group 1 victories today, but she's more brilliant than her, I can tell you.
Is she what? She's an out-and-out champion. And look at this. This is the Cox Plate, and it's a one-horse race. She's 8 in front there as they come into the home straight, and the others couldn't do any better. Incidentally, Diatribe is officially second, number 9, and number 4.
Everyone knows it anyhow, but it's just cemented it that she is a champion, the best horse to be racing at the present time, and sure, might and power, but for a mare to do what she's been doing lately, fabulous. And look, Trevor and Stephen McKee, Claire Bird, team effort.
Yep. Just please. How did it feel from a jockey's perspective from the 600 onwards?
Well, actually at the 1,000 metre mark he started to pull, and Trevor said don't have her pulling.
Yep.
So I went forward and just nursed her, but she loves the valley, it's her track, and this is her race today.
The richest animal on 4 legs, Greg, well done.
Thank you,
Simon.
Thank you very much, Simon. Well, as she comes back to scale, you've never heard a reception like it. The crowd are really saluting this mighty Kiwi mare. I told you she's won $6,333,000, and she was bought for just $40,000.
Well, they're all on their feet in the stand, Ken. It's
the greatest mare that ever lived. It's pretty well documented that Sunline traces in direct female descent to Farlap. Now, I know many people believe that the more generations that become involved and the longer the time passes, that the chances of a throwback to a freak such as Farlap are genetically impossible. But I just want to ask you this question. Is Farlap back? It's just possible that Sunline is some kind of freakish genetic throwback to Farlap. If she were a chestnut, I think I'd be covered in goosebumps. The fact that she... I don't mind a chat, as you well know. I have no words left. I'm just absolutely stunned and bowled over by the same. Graham, I've never been as affected by the performance of a thoroughbred in all my years in racing. I was on air here yesterday, as you know, on Sky Racing, and I was pretty close to shedding a tear when she went past the post. I had a lump in my throat that would have chosen, but we were probably watching the greatest performance by a mare in Australian racing history. That's the thing that hit me. Fancy being a part of that.
The softest win in a big race I've ever seen. And the champs behind Sunline, listen to this. Sky Heights beaten 26.4 lengths. Tie the Knot 17.8 lengths. It had enough after 800 metres. And Shogun Lodge 20.4 lengths behind the winner. You just couldn't believe that, Richard.
It was a very big win. It was an outstanding win. Best mare I've ever seen, Keith, I've got to say. And one of the 5 probably best horses I've ever seen race. And I think what's unique about that win was how far she beat those good horses, and good horses in form, not old horses who are out of form, but very good horses in very good form. And you know, it was astounding that she could put that much of a space on them.
What was the reaction there? Where did you watch the race?
Watched the race in the betting ring, and naturally there was a huge crowd there. And the reaction, I have to say, was quite bizarre to Sunline's performance yesterday. I think most people were quite stunned. There was the occasional cheer from about the 800-metre mark. People knew that she was going to win from there. But once she crossed the line by such a huge margin, no one could quite believe what they'd witnessed. And I think that ambience continued for the rest of the afternoon where I was at Rose Hill.
Euphoria. Just describe the euphoria at the track.
I think Joe hit on it. This part of the race was stunning. Nobody expected Sunline to burst clear of these top liners and treat them with contempt. But when we realised what we were seeing was actually happening, the roar went up for Sunline. Joe spoke of Greg Childs. He's one of our most reserved jockeys. He broke out of character after the race. He ran along the crowd, along the fence, giving high fives. He threw his goggles to someone in the crowd. I think he actually handed them. He could have done that at the home turn, because that's when Sunline had this race parcelled up. This was an coasting.
Yeah, I think I want to make a few points out of this race. I think the reason she was able to beat the others, a good horse like that, by so far is because yesterday the track was clearly biased to leaders, and the track was also biased to horses that had an affinity with Moonee Valley. Track specialists were definitely aided on the track yesterday, and there are reasons for that, and I want to go into that. But they were very wary of horses taking her on, I'm sure, and that's why she slipped them on the 1,000-metre corner. She clearly upped the tempo at the 1,000 metres around that corner and got good horses like Shogun Lodge and Tie the Knot and others off the bit 1,000 metres out. Now, how many times in their career do you reckon Shogun Lodge and Tie the Knot and the like have been off the bit 1,000 metres out trying to chase a horse that good? And I reckon, I know old Superimpose used to do it. When he came off the bit that far out, they simply aren't used to chasing for that long, and they don't like it. And I think her racing style and the fact that she's a track specialist allowed her to crush them like that.
Yeah, most of what you say is right. You've got to remember that Tie the Knot was runner-up to her in this race last year, so he's handled the track before. But look, it was quite sad.
Yeah, but hang on. You'd say he's handled the track before. It was an even track last year. It wasn't a leader by a specialist track like it was this year.
Are you trying to take something away from Sunline's performance?
No, Joe. You're just putting it in perspective. We can all gush, and I do think she's the best mare I've ever seen and one of the best racehorses. The reason she beat them so far, and it even surprised Trevor McKee, who knows more about it than all of us do, was I think there were factors that contributed to that.
Why can't you say that she was simply too good, Richard?
She was simply too good, but I think there were factors that contributed to the margins.
Glad you got that out of him, Joe. Richard,
they ran probably nearly 100 horses over it on the Thursday night, and then had to put the rail out 3 metres to try and counter the amount of damage that was done to the track. The track was very good on Thursday night and raced well.
It raced better on Thursday night than it did yesterday.
Absolutely.
That's common ground.
By the time Saturday came and 100 horses had been over it, it had become a specialist track. Now, I think The club's got to look at that. I think it's not good enough for race clubs to say, it doesn't matter what the track is, there'll be 8 winners anyway. I think you've got to look at the standing of that meeting, Cox Plate meeting, and I think producing a specialist track or a track that appears to the public to be biased, it denigrates the meeting. I think it drags it down. And I think the club may say, well, we get X amount of dollars out of running the race meeting on the Thursday. Is that enough to compensate for what I think, and it's only my opinion, but I think clearly denigrates the great meeting on the Saturday.
I don't know whether the clubs...
They're 29 starts, 21 wins, highest stakes earnings of $6,334,000 ahead of Octagonal. Superimposed there. Look at these figures. Tie the knot. Might and Power. But look at the statistics there, John. 29 starts for 21 wins.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
And they paid $40,000 for her. Not a bad conversion, is it?
Yeah. Hey, what about Dissel?
Look, I think it's great for racing. She's an unbelievable mare, especially around Moonee Valley, but my horse was galling in defeat, and he's still got plenty in the tank.
He really sort of chased pretty hard.
Beautiful run the whole way from the jaw, and you know, it was a real good effort behind the champion mare. Well, it was very good. He was able to get back into his comfort zone, and he had a lot easier run than a lot of the other horses in the field who were out wide pulling. But he ran on strongly, and I thought it was a great effort.
Oh, look, she was awesome. At the 1,000, I couldn't see them beating her. She was, she hadn't even let her down. She was probably in about 8th gear. Hadn't got to first yet, but look, she was awesome. I thought earlier in the week if she led and dictated the race, thanks for coming. All over, Red Rover.
What about Scoozy's run?
Into the race and probably run the first 3 prior to the turn. But I think the slow track in 2000 just took its toll on him. I think he's very suspect now, sort of 2,000 metre. I'd recommend fresh him up and just keep him to sprint courses on top of the track. It's a little bit hard for him when Sunline went past him with the stranglehold at about the 800 metre mark, and she was just unbelievable, and he held on for 7th. So.
The bubble burst, mate. It was one of those great mysteries in racing. He 1,200 metres out. He was 3 deep, but sky high, so I tracked him. I had a trail. Sunline was 3 deep all the way, out there rolling along, and I was beat 1,200 metres out from home. A horse of that calibre and class shouldn't be beat that far.
Well, you just couldn't handle the going. Yeah. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Yeah. She was awesome, the winner, wasn't she?
Yeah, bastard of a day to have an off day, isn't it? Honestly, I'm at a loss to explain why he raced the way he did today. He's never raced like that ever in his whole career. As we expected, he was slow away, but that wasn't a real concern because we thought we'd be able to track forward. I was actually gone at the mile. That's as simple as I can put it. He just couldn't even go forward. And there'd have to be something wrong with him. You know, vets up there apparently look at him now, but he finished 100 metres behind Sunline. But full credit, mate. The way she went today, I doubt whether we would have beat her anyway. She was absolutely awesome. But yeah, I hope there's nothing wrong with my horse because it'd be a terrible thing if we were to lose him, you know.
Well, there you go. And confused losing jockeys and connections there. But the mail is with the horse, the Glen Boss Road, Sky Heights, is that there was not much wrong with him. They didn't find anything wrong with him, did they, Keith?
No, he was vet checked, and look, in reaching the bottom of the barrel for excuses, the horse was inoculated last week. They thought maybe he had some reaction, but I think the excuses were all pretty thin, weren't they? This was clearly Sunline Saturday. She's the best mare, and established that yesterday, that we've seen in Australia for years.
Gull Boom, 93. Market, LA Suez, $12. Gull Guru, 13. La Zagaletta, $4.70. Chattanooga, $4.10. Crawl, $5.60. Weasel Will, $7.30. Vitamin, $7.60. And Della Vista, $29.
He might have bowled a couple of furlongs. He's going for a vet inspection at the moment. We'll hear a bit more about him. He'd be hard to beat too because he's a leader.
Exactly right. LA Suez, $13. Gotti Weasel Will. Vitamin hunting now, and Zahiro off the inside first to go. Weasel Will and Crawl got out okay, and now Gull Boom's going for speed, and Vitamin from the extreme outside's going up, and so too La Zagaletta. When they settle down, it's Gull Boom, the leader, joined by Vitamin on the outside. Weasel Will gets the third. La Zagaletta's going to settle down on fourth. La Zagaletta travels fourth. A length away, Della Vista on the outside of Zahiro. A length and a half to Chattanooga. 2 lengths away, Crawl outside, Gull Guru and LA Suez is last. Off the back inside the 800 metres mark, Gull Boom, a half Vital Man. Weasel Will's had the run of the race, third on the fence. La Zagaletta's the grey going up fourth now. Then came Zahiro, Della Vista, Chattanooga back on the fence in front of Crawl, LA Suez and Gull Guru.
Vitaman led. Weasel Will's going to get the run on the fence as they go past the 400. Weasel Will went up to Vitaman. Lazagaletta's out deep. Then Della Vista. Zahiro running home from a long way back, and Cruel is wide. On the turn, 250 to go, and Weasel Will got away. Led by a length, make it 1.5. Lazagaletta. Then Cruel, Della Vista, Zahiro as they turn, but Weasel Will flattened out for home. It's clear. Lazagaletta's in second spot, but Weasel Will's well clear from Lazagaletta. Halfway down the straight, it's been the best back runner in the race. Weasel Will is going to Bolton. Weasel Will won by 4. Lazagaletta is second. Tight third, Zahiro or Della Vista. Then Cruel, Chattanooga never got in the race. Then Vitaman, L.A. Suez never got sighted, followed by Gold Guru and the early pacemaker Gold Boom.
Yeah. $1.80 and $1.90, number 3 Lazagaletta, $1.90 and number 8 Zahiro, $3.70. Well, we're just about at
Crystal Mile. Great emotion too, they tell me, in the home straight for you.
Oh, look, great emotion, Andrew. This is my first group winner. The horse gave me my first ever winner on my own as a trainer. I promised the owners a long time ago I'd win her some water for Crystal, and to pull it off was a great achievement, and he's just a ripper of a horse.
Once Preble got up on the end.
And,
Preble. Hey, Richard, he's a pretty smart horse.
Weasel Will, he's a track specialist too. The 2 track specialists ran 1-2 in that. Lazagaletta ran second to him, so I think the track helped there. But he did get a lovely run, but he's been going very well. He didn't win his last start, but he won the start before, and very impressively, Weasel Will. And, you know, he's a good quality Group 2 horse who may, as an older horse, sneak into a Group 1 handicap with a chance.
Yeah, this is where the track factor started to kick in, didn't it? Right for the remaining races. I think all place getters were well performed at the Valley. And talking about...
Apache King is the top rater from 13 Troubadour, 7 Bulkhead and 12 Desert Rain, 16, 13, 7 and 12. Now, $16 for Skybow, Damien Oliver replacing Patrick Payne. Oxford dollars at $5.20 a query in the wet, and Bulkhead at $3.20. And in regards to Oxford dollar, even though they have upgraded the track to dead, Mayshield 10, Desert Rain 21, Troubadour 8.90, Maguire 8.20, Sav Rocker 17, Our Needles is at 27 cents.
$10 Bulkhead, $5 Oxford dollar, $7.80 Maguire, $9.70 for Troubadour.
And Bulkhead began well on the inside, away fast. Oh, now Mayshield staggered out of the gates, missed it by probably 4 or 5 lengths, I'd say. Desert Rain began well. Ultra Smug from his wide barriers going forward, and Maguire's handy to them. Troubadour just off the speed deal. At the 800 metres, about to come off the back, and Desert Rain by 3 or 4 lengths. Second, Ultra Smug. Another 3 lengths, Maguire, Apache King. Bulkhead on the insides, had every chance. They're followed by Our Needles and Troubadour together, a length and a half. Sav Rocker, Oxford Dollar a long way back from Mayshield, and Skybow's dropped out 4 lengths last. At the turn at the 450, Desert Rain by 2. Ultra Smug's coming again. Apache King running on. Maguire through on the insides, in with a chance. Bulkhead's under the whip. Then Our Needles and Troubadour peeling to the outside. Ultra Smug and Apache King in the straight. Bulkhead and Maguire are getting up on the inside, and here's Troubadour coming down the outside. Bulkhead's race through with Apache King. Apache King and Bulkhead from Sav Rocker on the inside, and now Mayshield. But Apache King and Sav Rocker are down to the line together. Sav Rocker a surprise. Sav Rocker's won it from Apache King and Bulkhead. Mayshield fourth. Then came back behind them Our Needles, Troubadour, Oxford Dollar and Maguire. And behind these, Desert Rain, Ultra Smug, and about 6 or 7 lengths then to Skybow. Sav Rocker has won the Cup, number 17. A big drifter, and Craig...
Men those barrier manners, Mayshield. Now, Sav Rocker, $20.10 and $4.40 on the tote board. Apache King, $3.10 and Bulkhead number...
Ruby Cup. And
well, the big talking point is the state of the Flemington track. Before we discuss, looks fantastic. You stamped that there. That track is firm. We are at 150 metres from the winning post on the inside of the Flemington straight. And we'll just go out a little bit further, Mark. We're out about 10 or 15 metres now, and out into the centre of the track is where you don't want to be, because this is where it is soft. You draw the inside or you draw the outside, that's the place to be, not down the centre. Okay, we're keeping our...
The track will be certainly slow tomorrow, if not...
To have a look at those tote figures now on race number 1, and Crystal Finale is the favourite, as we said, $4.40 a little while ago, out to $4.50 on Super Tab, and it is the favourite all the way through, and you can see the Queensland and New South Wales figures there. Pieces, the second pick at the moment. Over the page we go. Sporting Scribe at good each way odds. Marinello is also in contention and cost us off my selection in the race number 14 down there at 7.
And they're off and racing in the first event. Perhaps a little bit slow to begin was Bevan, and Costa's off and Sporting Scribe out the back in the early part of the race. Our Winged Foot, Neptune's Journey, Pieces all jumped well. Inspire as Neptune's Journey took up the lead. From Pieces and Schmooze in the blue colours is working its way across early. Back on the fence is Sophie's Rule from Sporting Scribe. Bevan second last. Our Winged Foot allowed to drift back is now last and about 12 to 14 lengths off the lead. About 1,000 metres to go and the leader Schmooze. About 3/4 of a length in front of Neptune's Journey, who now hooks around it, so it's one off the fence. 2 lengths away Pieces on the outside of Inspire. 2 lengths to Count Virgo. Marinello back on the rails is 6th. And then came Crystal Finale up to the turn. Woorabinda's back on the fence. A little wider out was Costa's off, Damavand, and wider still Sporting Scribe round the bend. About 500 metres to travel in Schmooze. The Kiwi leads into the straight from Neptune's Journey. Pieces third, Inspire right behind them on the fence fourth. 2 lengths to Woorabinda. Crystal Finale ridden along, but it's into the clear and Sporting Scribe wider out. Neptune's Journey at the 300 went to the lead. Inspire trying to hook around them. Further out Sporting Scribe and Crystal Finale getting home well. Neptune's Journey in front. After it was Inspire the bolter. Crystal Finale knuckling down and Sporting Scribe. It's Inspire, Sporting Scribe, Crystal Finale, Neptune's Journey. It's Inspire in front near the line, and Inspire perhaps has just lasted from Sporting Scribe, and Neptune's Journey. Crystal Finale just died on its run in the last 50 metres. They were followed home by Woorabinda and Marinello. Next home was Our Winged Foot, who made up ground. From Burley, never got into it. Neither did a lot of the horses back in the field. Costa's off and Bevan, and then Schmooze towards the rear was the photo. The bolter Inspire in front of Stride from home. And is Jason.
Well, it could be a huge day for Clary Connors.
And some big dividends too, Pete. Inspire, $93.70 on the Super Tab tote for the win, $21.50 for the place. 9 Sporting Scribe, $5.10, and $5.40 for Neptune's Journey, third number 15. Quinella, $8. And the trifecta, what about this for a start, Pete? 10, 9, 15. Trifecta's paid $25,185.90. 10.
Peter, I can tell you, to my left is the payout queues, and there isn't any. No one back the winner. It was a big drifter on course Inspire in the...
Only third at Geelong at his last start, so and did pay, I think, $90 on the tote. But it was a good effort. He had the classic run, though, didn't he, Ken? He came along the fence and he peeled off at the right time, and he got the right run.
He was totally flattered by the one alley, and if he hadn't have drawn one alley, he wouldn't have been winning. The best run in the race, perhaps the best run all day, was turned in by Sporting Scribe. Now, he finished second. The winner was third on the rails. The third horse was outside the leader all the way. They had the good runs. Sporting Scribe was never closer than 4 off the fence, and coming to the home turn, he was probably 8 off the fence. I thought his run was super.
Yeah, I think he might be the
sort of race. The second, the Shivers Regal, and there are the totes. And you can see that the ones in the betting here are number 4, Cosset, which has come up pretty short, probably because Jen's tipped it. Chapel number 5 is roundabout. The Gaston's already told us that the Hayes stable is pretty keen about number 8, and that is St Petersburg. It's about the $12 mark. Now, Oamaru Force has come up pretty short at $2.30 on Super Tab. Is also well and now Oamaru Force, the favourite, well, they've jumped. Here's Dan Malicki.
Out wider on the track, so they're going to split up here. There's going to be 4 coming down the grandstand side, including the favourite, which is Oamaru Force. Keppel going out there, and so too Kapias and Kudamudu over rail, and it's Oamaru Force just in front of the grey Keppel. Kudamudu's in third spot, and 2 lengths away Kapias. Running onto the course proper, 500 to go, the flat side, and Cosset led clearly out by 2 lengths to St Petersburg. Chenna ridden along and then Road to Success, and Gifted Ground making up some ground. The grandstand side, Oamaru Force joined and headed by the grey Keppel. Coming down to the 250, Cosset's in front. Out wide was Keppel the grey. It's Cosset in front, winding up in second spot, St Petersburg. Cosset in front with 100 to go from St Petersburg, and Keppel down the grandstand. Cosset in front, St Petersburg lunging on the outside and got up. St Petersburg has beaten Cosset, and down the grandstand side of the track, Keppel third. Then Gifted Ground, Kudamudu, Road to Success. The bubble burst with Oamaru Force, who was beaten at the 400. And then came 5 Keppel at 190. Quinella 17.50. Exacta 34.70. Trifecta $244. The rate.
Dan, and they left the money in the bag in that second. They certainly were jumping out of trees to back Cosset. They almost got there, but St Petersburg upset a very big plunge in the second run.
In frame till very late in the race. Cosset's a very fast sprinter. But looking at that run, there's a touch of weakness about him. He'll win plenty of sprint races, but probably he'll get strong. He's by Palace Music, the sire of naturalism, Richard.
Well, he would have liked the soft track.
Exactly.
And, that would have helped him. But did you notice the run St Petersburg got? The same old run. Parked up on the fence just behind the leader, peeled out, nailed him right on the post.
And St Petersburg.
The next to Saab Quality, Brew and Black Ledger are going to open up equal favourites, a tick under each way odds. And I can tell you that there's...
The totes on the Saab Quality, the third, as they stand at the moment, on Super Tab Queensland and New South Wales, the win tote. Brew at $5.20, Yammer at $4.80. They're the two on the front page. Rebor at $22 also has its supporters. Apache King, good run in the Geelong Cup, about 11. Black Ledger, my selection in the race, has come up favourite at $4.50.
Thank you, Peter. An unusual circumstance. Every runner in this race will try and qualify for the Cup. First and second will be automatic starters in the race. Brew at $4.70, Yammer $5.30 are clearly the two of the main three in the market, the other being Black Ledger, which is on the second page, and you're getting great value about a lot of the other horses, and they're well-known horses too. Maritport, who's a certain starter on Tuesdays at $65. $8.50 Apache King. Black Ledger $5.30 was a big winner.
I've gone for Black Ledger, the one that Graham Rogerson has backed, and Yammer is the selection from...
Black Ledger. They're off and racing in the Saab Quality Group 2. One of the best away was Maritport from on the inside. Mr. Nelson's going to race a lot more handy to them today. Black Ledger, and here's Ronnie going forward, so the pace is good at the post the first time. Maguire up into 6th position on the outside of Brew. Now settling back about 8th is Fast in the fluorescent yellow colours on the inside of Yammer. Ildon 3 wide, then Rabor, 2 lengths Apache King, 4 lengths. Our Unicorns a length behind Rabor, then Skybow, Liberty Hall, and 2 lengths away Vintage Morn. About 1,200 metres left to travel, and it's Maritport in front. He's 2 lengths to Ildon, 2.5 lengths away Mr. Nelson. Then in 4th spot is Here's Ronnie, 1.5 to Brew, who's had a cushy run. Then Black Ledger in 6th position, 2 lengths away Maguire outside Fuss. Another 2 lengths to Yammer around Apache King, and then She's a Class Act 3 deep. Our Unicorns over on the inside of Rabor, 2 lengths to Liberty Hall. Skybow and Vintage Morn is last. 800 metres to travel, and it's Maritport by a length to Ildon ridden along. Here's Ronnie moving up around them. Mr. Nelson's had a good run. It's getting into the clear and closing quickly. 2 lengths away Brew in 5th spot, then Black Ledger. Yammer winding up from Maguire. Fuss is sticking to the rails, and then came Apache King and Rabor turning for home, and Mr. Nelson swept up to hit the lead. He drew 2 lengths in front. Brew giving chase. Fuss getting into the clear. Maritport looked to sprint. Force Yammer running on. It's Mr. Nelson a length in front of Brew. Then Fuss and Yammer 4 lengths off the lead. It's Mr. Nelson at the 200. Brew closing 2 lengths away Yammer. Then came Fuss and Maguire. It's Mr. Nelson a half in front. Brew trying to come at it. 3 lengths away Yammer and Fuss. It's Mr. Nelson and Brew. Brew finishing the stronger. Brew's hit the lead near the line and Brew wins it. Brew about a half a length to Mr. Nelson. 3 lengths to Yammer. Then came Fuss. Maguire, Apache King, Liberty Hall. Next home was Maritport. Further back to Black Ledger, Our Unicorn, Ears Ronnie, Skybow, then Vintage Morn, Ildon, Rebor, and She's a Class Act at the back of the field.
100 now, and here's Mr. Nelson quickly sweeping up and dashing to the lead at the top of the straight. Mr. Nelson went for home by 2 lengths to Brew, who's coming after him. Maritport battling, and then Fuss. Down the outside comes Yammer. He's starting to come home well. Mr. Nelson at the 300 being tackled by Brew. 2 lengths to Fuss, and then Yammer the outside, and then Apache King at the 200. Brewer's after Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson about 3/4 in front. Brew's coming home a little bit the better. Brew and Mr. Nelson from Yammer the outside. It's Brew and Mr. Nelson. Brew went home the best, and Brew's wanted a neck on the line, maybe a little more to Mr. Nelson. Third is Yammer, 3 lengths away. Then Fuss.
Beautiful ride down by Chris Woods. You mentioned over about the 1600 what a cushy run it was getting, and you couldn't have seen a nicer ride. The horse was this
strong at the line. Yeah. Mr. Nelson raced a lot closer to the speed today, and then the placings from first to last. So if you want to check where your horse finished, as in the case of Brew, drops to 49 kilos in the Melbourne Cup, so that's nearly a stone on today's win with 56.5.
Yes.
20 to 1, Dan Maliki. Michael Moroney, congratulations. You've got yourself a real Melbourne Cup hope there.
It certainly looks that way. Just pretty weird to run them here today, really, because it's quite a tough run on them, and that's probably my biggest worry about the Cup being on Tuesday.
Delightful ride with the 56.5.
Peter, Brew was a noted drifter down here in the bookmakers' ring, but talking to a lot of the bookmakers, they did say it was a bad result for them. So, and Brew, talking to a couple of other bookmakers, they said that Brew's price will short from about 25 to 1 into 14 to 1 for the Melbourne Cup due to its dramatic drop in weight and the fact that it'll probably get the 2 miles. In this...
Yeah, he's drawn barrier 24. He does drop 6.5 kilos, Brew, and he's probably the best of the lightweights.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think he's...
Ray, you had something on Mr. Nelson in the race.
Yes, I did. He had some fair form in Adelaide during the autumn, John, and I just feel that the horse was coming stronger as his preparation continued. As it turned out, I got nailed on the post by the horse you're talking about, Brew. I don't know about Brew. I don't think the Melbourne Cup winner came out of the Saab Quality.
Is he too dour? Does he not have that ability to really flash home over the last couple of furlongs to win a Melbourne Cup?
I think he's a fairly dour stayer. I think he showed there that he is a strong stayer and that he outstayed Mr. Nelson right on the line. Mr. Nelson was going to beat him all the way up the straight here, and just the last 100 metres, Brew got on top. A good ride from Chris Muntz. Once again, parked behind the leaders and just peeled out around the lead horse and went home over the top of him. Wasn't much between the two horses though, and I don't know. I don't think he'll be my tip in the Melbourne Cup, but he'll certainly run a good race.
Yeah, I think that 24 Alley will beat him in the Cup, but he'll beat home more than he'll beat him because he'll keep plugging away, and a lot of horses get very, very tired at the end of 3,200 metres, and he won't get as tired as most.
No, I would think that's...
Mares races are invariably very hard to pick the winner, and as we said earlier, this one's no exception.
No exception at all, Peter. Like Tim, I thought Bumbalina probably had a bit of a chance here.
Me too.
The only thing is the going, whether or not she can handle it, because she's from Perth and they don't normally strike the wet tracks over there. But
and she did get back at $4. It's not a 2-to-1 chance.
Consistent. And number 10, I'll put Bumbalina in.
We fixed it right up. It's Platonic, $3. It's not a 2-to-1 chance, surely. Look at the tote figures as they stand at the moment. Dan Malicki.
Wide open affair outside. It's Platonic and Avilda at $10 on Super Tab, 15 in Queensland, 9 in New South Wales. Now down to market price at the $17 mark. Big discrepancy there in Queensland at $3.70. Number 9, Spy Stole at $13, $6 Bumbalina. The favourite, It's Platonic, and clearly so at $3.40. Nova Claus, of course, in the market at $8.
Dan, It's Platonic opened up very, very short and was a noted drifter in about the first 15 minutes of betting, but now they've just come out of the ether to get on It's Platonic. It is clearly the favourite in this race.
First of all, let's recap the tips. It's Platonic from Jennifer, Avilda from Richard, Johnny Letts.
1,600 metres, they're on their way now. Bodacious Lady was a little bit slow to begin, and Umaline will drift out the back with Harmonia Market Price. Bumbalina's going to get back as well. Lady Marian and Spy Style amongst the best two to begin, and Super Sequel from a wide draw going forward. Lady Marian crosses Spy Style. Cryptavia is poking through in the middle. And Lady Marian has them stacked up and led a half a length to Super Sequel. Love's Choice 3 wide. Spy Style is back on the fence running fourth. And then Cryptavia the centre. 3 wide Pace Invader. Next is Prenuptial. And then came It's Platonic running up to the turn in about 8th position but starting to ease out. Nova Claus has always raced wide. And then came Avilda. Prenuptial back on the rails from Sorrento. And then Harmonia well back on the turn from Market Price. And Bumbalina's 3 lengths last. At the 400, it's Lady Marian and Super Sequel together. 2 lengths to Cryptavia into the clear. And then Spy Style, It's Platonic out wider, running on well. Super Sequel, Lady Marian from Cryptavia, It's Platonic, and then Spy Style. It's Lady Marian kicking back, Super Sequel, It's Platonic, Cryptavia. On the outside, Super Sequel put its neck in front from Lady Marian. Then it's Platonic, but it's Super Sequel in front with the gouge from a wide draw and a big run. Super Sequel scores. Super Sequel, a photo of the minors between It's Platonic and Nova Claus, which was a big run, and it was closing late. Cryptavia close up, and then Lady Marian and Sorrento made ground from Spy Style, who weakened the last 100 metres. Umaline was next, and then Avilda, Prenuptial, Bodacious Lady, and then came Love's Choice. Dropping out of it, Pace Invader, Market Price, then Harmonia, and Bumbalina never got warm. It was always at the tail of the field.
I think it was a tough win, Darren, wasn't it, from barrier 19?
A very good win. She practically did what she did the other day, but she won today. She did the outside barrier, and she went forward, and she hung on nicely.
Darren, you have...
Winner Super Sequel paid $24.20 and $5.70 the place. So that's $24.20 and $5.70. 14 It's Platonic, $1.70. 11 Nova Claus, $2.50. A Quinella of $41.
At all, and yes, the bookies have got a smile on their face, although I said...
Okay, boys, your comments on that?
Yeah, Super Sequel was, you know, a good runner. It's the only one you want to be on at the corner.
That's right. Very well ridden by Darren Gauci, who knew to cross over from the wide alley because there was so much advantage. Trained by Robert Prescott, one of the rising trainers in New Zealand, a very, very good trainer, has Hill of Grace, who'll run in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. And Super Sequel, I just thought that the Alley and the stronger class to her last run would beat her, but she was able to do it at both ends, which often they can't.
It's Platonic. Very good run in the race, I thought.
Yeah, It's Platonic needs a fairer track, and it'll win a lot of races.
Yeah, getting home very nicely there.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, there's going to be some activity prior to the Qantas Wakefield Stakes. Here are the tote figures as they stand at the moment. Look at how wide open this is with Pont and Fly, Donna Dior, each way chances. Dashing Grenada's in with a chance. Blab, Richard Freeman told us they quite fancy this horse today at $9.50. Tanith is at $3, at $5.10. Lolita Star's come up good odds at $20 even. She's a pretender 23. That's on Super Tab, and then we go over the page to Lang Kwai Fong. Now, what does that name mean, Jen?
Well, it's a, let's put it this way, a drinking hole in Hong Kong, on the island there.
Yeah, I thought you'd know the answer to that. Love Lawn, $17.
$9.70, Dashing Grenada at 12, Blab in excess of 10, Tanith at $4.60, Shelburne Lass at $5.20, $16 Lolita Star, and then you're getting out to some bigger odds after 12, which is Love Lawn. Unleashing on something?
You're well connected. You're well connected, Dan. Yes, Shelbourne Lass, they've jumped out of the trees to back this one. This is easily the best back horse so far today. At the moment, it's about 4-1 on the tote. You can't get anything like that in the ring, and it's clearly the best back runner here today.
Like Shelbourne Lass from Jenny Chapman, Tanith from Let's See, myself and Gary, Blab from Richard Friedman, Dashing Grenada from Dan Malicki.
And they're racing. Scale the Heights a bit slow. Curvaceous, Pont and Flyer for Arena. Lolita Star all getting back in the early part. Jumping well with Shelburne Lass, who pushes through the grey on the inside of Lan Kwai Fong. And Donna Dior 3 out. Tanith is pretty handy today. It's about 7th, but it's 4 or 5 wide around Blab, and She's a Pretender. And over on the inside, second last. And Lolita Star is at the tail of the field and a good 10 lengths from the leader. Donna Dior with the inside running narrowly in front of Love Lawn. Chicky's always been wide out. Blab right there 4th, and Lan Kwai Fong 5th on the inside. Tanith has had a very tough run. It's been 3 and 4 wide the whole way. Then She's a Pretender, the grey Shelbourne Lass trying to get into the clear. Polar Sky hard ridden, then Curvaceous, Dashing Grenada. Pont and Flyer second last on the rails turning for home. 500 to go. Donna Dior, Love Lawn. Blab joins in 3 out. 4 wide was Tanith, and then Shelbourne Lass. Lan Kwai Fong looking for a run. Donna Dior gone. Tanith moved up to Blab. Here comes Shelbourne Lass. Lan Kwai Fong getting a run back to the inside. Tanith in front. Shelbourne Lass a length away but closing. Lan Kwai Fong getting up along the inside. Tanith in front. Shelbourne Lass. Lolita Star late's going to challenge. Shelbourne Lass, Lan Kwai Fong and Lolita Star. Lolita Star swamping them on the outside, and she draws away and wins well. Brilliant ride. Lolita Star the winner. Second home Lan Kwai Fong. Stable Quinella. Third may have been Tanith from Shelbourne Lass. And then Dashing Grenada from Love Lawn and Blab. Further back then to Arena. From Pont and Fly, never got into it. Curvaceous, Rinsality, Donna Dior. And then came She's a Pretender with Scale the Heights, Polar Sky, and Chicky at the tail of the field.
There's now, and Blab came with a burst on the outside to tackle Love Lawn. Donna Dior struggling on the rail. Tanith was wider out still there, and now the grey Shelbourne Lass working into the clear, and Lan Kwai Fong going for the rails at the 250. Tanith took the lead. Shelbourne Lass coming after her, and Lan Kwai Fong the rail, then Blab and Love Lawn. Tanith is tackled by Shelbourne Lass and Lan Kwai Fong on the rail, 100 out. And here comes Lolita Star. She's swapping them on the outside. Coming from nowhere, Lolita Star races away. What an Oaks trail. Lolita Star from Lan Kwai Fong. Either Tanith or Shelbourne Lass.
That's the Oaks favourite now, Lolita Star. She's been strong at both her last 2 starts, 2000. And what a ride from Stephen Basta. From the tail of the field, he refused to hook around a horse, weaved the passage through on the inside.
On the running rail, on the inside. Yeah, it's unbelievable. We didn't want to over-race, so we didn't want to dig it forward. And I dropped my hands, come out of the gates, and she just totally dropped the bit and put me last. I was a bit surprised to be there, but we were coming through the home turn, tracking up Pont and Flyer and Dashing Grenada, and I was quite happy with where I was, and I thought she runs home, runs a nice place. Well, it's a good win, but she really won well, and most impressive Oaks trial. You'll be looking for the... Yeah.
Exciting. I mean, we were absolutely thrilled with her when she got to a mile and a quarter at Caulfield. And when we drew 18 today and the bias was sort of against us, and we thought, oh, gee, what are we going to do? We thought, well, we've got to ride her back because we want something left there for Oaks Day. So we just asked Steve to ride her back and ride her for a bit of luck, and she was outstanding. That's exactly what he...
after the Qantas Wakefield Stakes, and we'll try and let you know exactly where these horses have finished And that's the finishing order.
14.90 and 4.79. Lan Kwai Fong 4.30. Tennis third $1.90. Peter Hayes Quinella 95.60. Exacta 216.40. The double figure odds winner Lolita Star. Good value. Again, most punters by the sounds of it getting put off by the wide draw and the fact she got back in the field.
Yeah, Dan, this time last year, the first on Derby Day, they were absolutely bleeding the bookies, but they are celebrating at the moment. And yes, the punters left the money certainly in the bookies' bag with Shelbourne Lass, the plunge going astray.
Could have been flattered in one way, as you just pointed out to me during the replay. She made all of her ground near the fence and came out late.
That's right, and she finished up approximately in the same part of the track. I'm just not prepared to say that Lolita Star has the mortgage on the Oaks that some people think she has. I think the second horse, Lan Kwai Fong, might derive some benefit out of that run yesterday because she missed Moonee Valley.
He's on fire.
I think that's actually a fairly astute summary there from you, Rabs. You may have a future in sport.
Would you expect any less, Richard?
You might have a bit of a future there, Rabs. But I actually agree with everything you said. I think Lan Kwai Fong was a good race. I tell you what was a great run in the race, Tanith. Tanith, I know Mick Price, the trainer of Tanith, was fairly disappointed with the ride and thought that the filly did far more work than she was entitled to do. And I think she will run out the Oaks distance as well. So I would put Tanith out of it as well.
Li Kwai Fong sounds to me like that stuff that Rabbits orders when I go to the Chinese with him. But I think Rabbits hits his 4 irons about 140 metres, which... And I reckon that's about as far as Lolita Star will win the Oaks. I agree with what Richard said about Tanith. I thought it was equally as good a run in the race, and she wasn't particularly well ridden, particularly the way...
6 years after her sight.
It's been causing Bede Murray headaches all week. Just what will happen when his colt Universal Prince turns for home in tomorrow's Derby?
We will be coming from behind, and the only concern I've got that the straight, the 500 metres of the straight, is probably the poorer section of the track, and I hope that we won't have to make our run too wide, because I feel the going just out wide in the straight will be a bit slow.
The state of the Flemington track.
One's waiting at the moment, Tim, and here are the dividends as they stand on the Amy Victoria Derby. Scalato, a warm favourite, came up even shorter than that. 320 on Super Tab, 370 in Queensland, 320 in New South Wales. Universal Prince has got out to good odds at $8.50. Falls the Shadow down at number 8 is still excellent value at $15. Cut up the top at $12, also well in it. Hit the Roof is at $13 and down to number 14, Bush Padre. This horse out of the Freedman stable. As we said to Richard this morning, they have had a lean carnival, but wouldn't this be some sort of consolation, Jen? And the way he won at Geelong is not without a hope. No. Reminder, there is some drama happening here at Flemington regarding the Derby favourite Scalato. In the next race, now we believe that there is going to be some sort of announcement coming from the stewards as to whether the horse has returned some sort of irregularity in a test from this morning. We'll find out some more. Have you ever heard of this situation before where the stewards have said to Clary Connors, well, be it on your head, you start in, and there's something wrong, you cop the consequences?
Never ever, Peter, and I'm quite amazed, and yet we're still waiting to hear officially what's going to happen with this horse, so as soon as we know, we'll let you know.
Well, it's important for us too, because there you can see 4 of us have gone for Scalato.
What's happened?
The stewards deciding.
And what do you feel they will decide?
Hoping for the best.
And what have you said to them?
I just said that we've done everything within the rules of racing, and whatever the horse has shown in his urine and is out of character to any horse I've ever had. And the horse was presented to the races today, and the same circumstances of thousands of other horses I've ever raced. One Guineas here last autumn, and the horse is exactly the same situation, and this horse has got a strange metabolism for some reason, and so that's the situation at this stage.
Are you confident at this stage that Scalato will take his place in the Derby?
No comment.
To go. Clary Connors with Mark Oaston. This is unbelievable drama. Jen, this is reminiscent, and I know it's not the Foster's Melbourne Cup, but all the drama that went on before the Melbourne Cup in 1969 with Big Faloo, which was favourite for the race and was taken out 39 minutes before the Melbourne Cup back then because of an irregularity. Now, we don't know what's going on here at the moment. The signs are not good for Scalato, I've got to say.
No.
It is just 18 minutes away, and we still don't know whether Scalato will be...
Breath. What is the situation now with Scalato?
Scalato will take his place in the derby. Under the stewards have passed it to me that as long as I'm happy enough to run the horse, and the horse is going to the race drug-free, and it's put it back to me as long as I'm happy enough to run the horse, and I'm happy enough to run the horse. When I say I'm happy enough to run the horse, I want to run the horse. The horse is drug-free, and he'll return his pre-race test. The other horses in the race had before, it was negative, so owners have been put back to me, and God give us help.
And you're obviously relieved, Clary.
Very relieved.
Well, I think everyone that's backed Scalato around Australia...
Now, the one good thing about it is, Jen, Scalato doesn't know about all the drama.
No, he doesn't.
Victoria Derby, Super Tab, Show a Heart, $13.20. Scalato is $3.20, and he is the favourite all over Australia. Universal Prince at $7.30. Down to number 9, Sale of Century at $8.30. Look at the pool. $2.5 million the win, $1.5 million the place. That's Super Tab. $13 for Hit the Roof, number 10. Big odds about the next few. Adolescents, 23.
They found out Scalato was going to start. They came for it very strongly. It's clear-cut favourites, the only one they really want. But Sale of Century's been best back late in a couple of points. It's about the point under what it's showing on the tote. But at the moment, Scalato, all the rage.
And they're ready to race. And they're racing. Sale of Century was slated against Scalato out wide, jumped out well. He's going up forward. Shot of Thunder and Hit the Roof away quickly. Go Bent, and also wider out was Comforts racing up to the lead at the winning post the first time. It's Go Bent and also Comforts taking up the running from Hit the Roof. Shot of Thunder, and then Adolescence and Scalato's 4 deep pressing forward. Bush Padre up into about 7th spot. On the outside of Falls the Shadow, then Show a Heart, Universal Prince, midfield the rails. 3 still about 15 lengths off the lead. Heading to the back of the course with about 1,200 metres to travel. In the Amy Victoria Derby, and the Bolter Comforts in front. Leads by 2 lengths to Go Bent. Another 2 lengths to Shot of Thunder on the inside of the favourite Scalato. 1.5 lengths to Adolescence. Outside Hit the Roof. Verbal's never been on the track. It's 3 deep. Bush Padre's trying to get a run between runners, and then Falls the Shadow. I'll Get By. Show a Heart, Universal Prince, Royale Exit, then Sale of Century, Sarsen Trail, and Reenactor still last of all. 800 metres to go, and it's Comforts by a length. Go Bent in 2nd spot. 3 lengths to Shot of Thunder on the inside. Scalato running 4th. 2 lengths to Adolescence coming into it. Hit the Roof is back on the rails. Verbal losing ground. Royale Exit switching around it. Bush Padre between runners, and then Falls the Shadow. Back along the inside was a Universal Prince. Show a Heart back behind them from Sale of Century. Into the home straight. Go Bent, Shot of Thunder are coming out after Comfort. Scalato bumped with Hit the Roof is into the clear. Go Bent went to the lead. Hit the Roof came after him very solidly though. And now Falls the Shadows into the clear. Hit the Roof loomed up to hit the lead. It's a length in front of Falls the Shadow. Universal Prince back on the rails, but Hit the Roof dash clear. It's 2 lengths in front. Scalato, Universal Prince and Falls the Shadow, but it's Hit the Roof. Hit the Roof wins the derby by 3 lengths. Universal Prince 2nd, 3rd place Falls the Shadow. Then came Scalato and Sale of Century. Next home would have been Comforts, who was a good run. From Go Bent, Royale Exit behind those. And then came Shot of Thunder, Reenact, Bush Padre, Show a Heart. I'll Get By, Adolescence, Sarsen Trail, and Verbal had a tough run, and he knocked up and finished at the tail of the field.
Yeah, beautiful ride.
Past as a corner. Into the straight at the 400-metre mark now. Go Bent moved up to go to the lead from Comforts on the inside. Hit the Roof is getting into the clear. Then Scalato on the outside. And now Universal Prince. But as they got to the 200, Hit the Roof. Hit the Roof has raced up and gone to the lead over Scalato. Falls the Shadow. Go Bent and Universal Prince on the rail. Hit the Roof with 100 to go. The leader from Universal Prince, Scalato, and Falls the Shadow. But it's Hit the Roof well clear. He's got the Derby won. And Hit the Roof goes on to win it by 3 lengths on the line. Universal Prince. Falls the Shadow, I think, grabbed 3rd from Scalato, and Sale of Century running home well, but it was...
Behind the leaders, on the rails, they ran 1, 2 in the Saab Quality, and those 3 horses are on the placings. All were on the rails, midfield, getting cushy, cosy runs.
That's the thing. That's the whole secret.
They've just become worthwhile.
That's amazing. This race is a pretty special race, and just emotional. It's unbelievable.
I don't blame it. Great ride too, wasn't it?
Yeah, the barrier drew him in a fair bit, and a great staying horse, you know. It's just,
time, but stuck for words tonight. Fantastic.
Is this your greatest moment?
I think it'd have to be, yeah. Definitely.
A lot of expectations on you coming into this carnival because of what you did last year. You had a great Derby day last year. This is even better.
How can that happen, Pete? How can you better last year? I think the expectation, it's sort of, you know, we haven't been flying this year, so we've been going okay, but to pull this off today, you know, everything's gone right with this horse's preparation, and to win it, it's a pretty special race. Over the moon.
A lot of people very pleased.
Yeah, though. We've got Andrew Hoy who rides for the Scarboroughs in the Olympics, and we've got Glenn Boss who rides for him on racetrack. So, Glenn, you first. What an outstanding effort, this horse.
Well, that was a gold medal performance, especially by David Orr. What a great training effort, and it's great to have special Andrew here to share this great moment with me, because he's an absolute champion himself.
And the gold medal from Andrew Hoy, and he's got plenty of them to spare because he's won 3 of them. And there he is, Group 1, Glenn Boss coming back to scale, and we'll watch him do that in a minute. The replay shows that this by Maruth out of Good. Andrew Hoy,
$14.50 and $3.70. Universal Prince $2.40 and Falls the Shadow paid $3.80. Quinella $47.20. Exacta $102.30. Trifecta $1,077.
Yeah, Dan, not an absolute cleaner for the bookmakers. Some of them hit hard at longer each way odds, and yes, you are right. That was one of the better horses back late in Hit the Roof, but they certainly got plenty with Scalato out of the money. In the next, there's
Bridge Stud. We brought him out here. He's got pretty much a New Zealand pedigree. I just think the Australian bars passed him by. He's a little bit immature. I think he's probably the youngest horse that went into the race yesterday. He's not 3 yet. He was foaled on the 16th of November, so perhaps that may have had something to do with it as well.
You won a derby with a 2-year-old.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often, does it, eh?
Everything fell into place yesterday. You got the track you wanted, you got the ride you wanted, you got the barrier draw you wanted, and it all fell into place for you.
Yeah, and a wonderful preparation too. I mean, I think he was a little bit over horses that had a chance.
He was the best horse on the day yesterday, but I don't think we should overlook the fact that the 1 alley was a huge advantage at Flemington yesterday. Now, Flemington's very tired, as we know. The track seemed to be pretty fair in the straight, but certainly horses that could make ground along the inside were very, very much favoured by yesterday's track bias. Hit the Roof was able to take advantage of that, and he won clearly at the finish. No excuses for the others. Universal Prince, who come from well back, also got along the inside. A terrific run. I thought the 3rd horse, who will mature a lot and will be Falls the Shadow, will be a better horse in the autumn. But I thought, apart from the winner, the best run in the Derby was Scalato. He started from a wide alley. He got into trouble going out of the straight the first time. Paddy Payne had a little bit of trouble finding a spot. He wondered a bit on the home turn, and he fought on much better than I anticipated. I thought his 4th was terrific.
A lot of drama before the race involving Scalato. Richard, no doubt you'd be aware of what happened there?
Yes, apparently that the horse, as most people know now, has returned on a regularity out of the Caulfield Guineas win, and apparently that's to phenylbutazone or butazolidine, which is an anti-inflammatory. And apparently, again, on the morning of the race, the elective testing that had been done by Clary Connors to test that anything else or something else had come out of its system came back positive again. And the stewards quizzed Clary about whether he would guarantee if the horse was drug-free for the Derby. And there was some conjecture about whether the horse would actually run in the race yesterday, but Clary assured them that the horse would be drug-free, and they allowed the horse to run.
What I couldn't understand, Rich, was they swabbed the horse yesterday. I took a test at 7 a.m. and they said the result won't be known until 10 minutes before the race. Now, in this day and age, that's ridiculous. So I'm betting on the Derby all day, and people are still arguing a quarter of an hour before the race whether he's in or he's out. Well, like the public deserves a lot better than that. But the other runners deserve more than that.
Well, that might be right, but there is such thing as technology, and it takes as long as it takes to do a test.
This is the year 2000.
It just takes a little time. I think Clary's case will be that obviously Scalato is a horse that excretes these things very slowly and excretes them at a rate that is outside the normal parameters, and in fact the parameters that are advised by the racing board itself. So,
Richard, a reasonable number of positive swabs that are returned these days occur because vets tell you that they'll go through the system quicker than they actually do.
Yeah, well, there is no set rule, so it's a big point of conjecture, and it's going to be
But
$4.90. Well, a few people have dumped him after his flop in the Cox Plate last week, and that can be a dangerous thing to do because he did work very well the other day. Oliver Twist has actually come up favourite, and I would have thought Sky Heights certainly would have come up the favourite. You can see that there's good each way in Montrachet, Oxford Dollar. They're all Melbourne Cup horses. Freemason's a Melbourne Cup horse. He's $8.10. Don't know about him at 2,000 metres, Jen. They might be a bit nips. A lot of these horses involved in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. Sky Heights is now into the favourite, where he should have been at the start, I think, at $3.90. Oliver Twist at $5.30. You've got big odds about all of the other horses on that page. That's through Super Tab, through the Queensland tab, and through the New South Wales tab. Montrachet, the French horse, interestingly, is just at the $16 mark. And those pools are Australia-wide, 2.6 million in the win, 1.5 million in the place.
1,000 metres, $500,000 Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes. And they're racing. Sky Heights, as per usual, a little bit slow to begin. Citrus Prince and Bulkhead, the two stablemates out the back, with Bohemoth, Oxford Dollar and the Hind in the early part. Slavonic jumped well at $1. Another 2 lengths away to Citrus Prince outside the Hind, and 2 lengths to Bohemoth, who would be 12 to 14 lengths off the lead. 1,000 metres left to travel, and Camarina in front. She's a half a length in front of Vitaman. Slavonic third, fourth on the outside Magneto, but he's had to do it tough 3 wide. Hill of Grace has had a pretty good run, so has Oliver Twist. Montrachet 3 wide, starting to improve. Then Coco Cabana. Sky Heights within striking distance, about 6 lengths from the lead. Next Freemason, over on the rails Gold Guru, then Oxford Dollar creeping up. Back towards the tail, Bulkhead from Citrus Prince the Hind, and Bohemoth last. Turning for home, they've got 500 to travel, and it's Camarina. 3/4 of a length to Vitaman. Magneto, Montrachet joining in. Sky Heights 5 wide. They were followed by Slavonic, Hill of Grace ridden along, and Oliver Twist in need of a run. Camarina at the 400, led by a length and a half. She tries to extend on Vitaman, then Slavonic. Oxford Dollar putting in a run out wide. Then Hill of Grace. It's Camarina at the 200. Oliver Twist and Slavonic after her. Camarina in front. Oliver Twist getting the run on the rails. Oliver Twist shoots through on the inside, and Oliver Twist is going to win the McKinnon by half a length. Camarina's run second, Slavonic third. Then Freemason. Not far away was Bulkhead. Hill of Grace and Oxford Dollar was a good effort. Then came Coco Cabana from Bohemoth. Sky Heights a flop again. Won't see him for the rest of the spring. Then Gold Guru, Citrus Prince, Magneto, Vitaman, and Montrachet at the tail end of the field.
And the leader is Camarina from Vitaman. Wider out is the grey Magneto. Montrachet coming deeper still, and Sky Heights is off the track. He's one of the widest. Oxford Dollar's coming deeper still. Hill of Grace in behind them looking for an out as they got past the 300. Camarina still has it over Vitaman and Slavonic running a big race. Oliver Twist is getting up on the rail, and then Oxford Dollar down the outside. Camarina, though, at the 100 in front. Oliver Twist is driving up on the rail, and then Slavonic, but Oliver Twist railed through, and Oliver Twist came away and beat Camarina. Slavonic's run a great third. Then Freemason coming home, and so was Bulkhead. Next, Hill of Grace, Oxford Dollar the Hind.
Much room up on the pickets there.
I didn't, but the good thing was he persevered with it because there's no other option. And, you know, that left the horse with plenty of running to finish it off. So, you know, he sort of give it to him at the finish, which was great. But, I mean, this horse is remarkable, I mean, in his toughness. Last week when he ran in the Cox Plate, 20 minutes after the race, he was jumping around after he'd cooled out like a spring 2-year-old. It was underworked. And all week, his eyes had just been like an eagle, and he's just been just...
Yeah, we were getting a beautiful run on the fence, but coming to the turn, it was packing up, and we couldn't get out. Took a tight rails run and burst through for a good win.
Oh, I travelled well
the other day, and there is the full field. So let's have a look at some of these Melbourne Cup horses. Freemason, a great trial. Bulkhead ran on really well. Hill of Grace, well, she just doesn't.
90s trainer Brian Mayfield Smith released a book on his personal travels through Africa only recently, so it's topped it off with a magnificent win in a Group 1. Second, Camarina 3.
On Sky Heights, but it never made any ground out wide. So at the moment, it is a massive day for the bookmakers. They're counting the cash, even though...
There were good runs galore in that race behind the winner, Oliver Twist. But first up, let's hear from me.
If Oliver Twist could do that to the McKinnon field, I keep coming back to my cup tip, Diatribe. Because Diatribe, I just think his lead up to this cup has been fantastic. And
he hasn't, mate. He's the toughest horse in Victoria at the moment. I backed him yesterday because I thought on that track, the way it was playing, he was coming in with good form. There are a lot of horses in the McKinnon this year that were coming in with dodgy form, and he got the right run in the race very nice ride on the horse, and Oliver did the job. But when you say Brian Mayfield-Smith's history is well documented, it certainly is. He's just released a book. And you can send a copy around, Brian, whenever you're ready for the free plug. But the Oliver Twist there, that would be Darren's fault.
But I tell you something, I went to the races not to back Oliver Twist, but if you got the Flemington, you saw he drew one alley and you didn't back him, well, there's something wrong with you. It was a huge advantage yesterday. He's a tough horse, and here he comes here. He's back about 5th on the rails here, and you watch him. Now, to be fair to Darren, this horse just lays out of touch. She's used to running the Sydney way of going, not the Melbourne. She gets off the rails. Greg Childs, it had an absolute bludge in the run from one alley and took advantage of it. Remember, that's Slavonic, who won the Werribee Cup, not a great race on Wednesday, running 3rd. And what was the horse that ran 5th? Bulkhead.
Yeah.
He's got no great weight for age wraps on him, so we've got to keep the race in perspective.
It wasn't a great weight for age race, but I did see, did you know...
Timothy, yes, I think he's got a pretty good first-up record, Blackburn. Here are the totes as they stand in the Salinger Stakes, and Falvalon, this mighty sprinter. He's not very big, Jem, but she's very good.
Is he ever? He's only had the 2 starts in, Peter.
On the track, $16 for sports. Johnny Hawkes has got a few chances in this. Easy Rocking's in the betting too at $10.90. Gallopini's not the worst either at $21. Well, you could just about tip anything in this race and you wouldn't be too far away. Miss Cornucova, she's inexperienced, Jen. She's taking on her biggest task here, but she...
Probably a good each-way bet there. I put in Falvalon, of course, for 2nd. And for...
Why don't we have a look at the tote figures with Dan Malicki in the commentary box.
Falvalon at $3.10. Peter's still clearly the favourite. He's in great form, isn't he? Blackbean at $7.10. Easy Rocking $10. Sub 19 and Upright at $26. Falvalon has been the...
Well, they certainly let punters on Falvalon early, Dan. It certainly opened up very short. It's 5th out, but now they've come for Falvalon. There's one down the bottom, number 16 Upright. At the moment, $25 on the tote. It's coming 10 points, and he's 10 points shorter than that in the bookmaker's ring. And I think it might have something to do with the fact it's from Barrier 1 and Peter Donegan. There's a lot of irate punters down here. They reckon this track is a disgrace for front runners and horses close to the rail.
Well, and they're racing now. A little bit slow to begin would have been Miss Cornucova in the middle of the line, and they're going to split up. Most of them are coming down towards the flat side, and there's about half a dozen to the grandstand side, which include Falvalon, also Shy Hero and Adam from just in behind those runners on settling down Umrum, and also out there inside Upright from Tilt the Scales between runners, and then Milan Princess, Bradshaw, Gallopini and Easy Rocking is last of the group on the flat side of the track. Down the grandstand side, Shy Heroes in front from Falvalon, Umrum, and then Adam ridden along behind those runners was Sports or Flavour, and then came Blackbean on the flat side of the track. It's Sports just in front of Miss Cornucova, Tilt the Scales, Gallopini, Easy Rocking's coming after him down the grandstand side of the track. Umrum, Falvalon, Blackbean getting home strongly. Good finish coming up. Easy Rocking, Tilt the Scales down on the inside. It's Easy Rocking in front, getting near the post. I think Easy Rocking from Umrum. It's going to be close though. Easy Rocking from Umrum. Third's a great go. There's Tilt the Scales, Gallopini and Blackbean wider out. Great finish in the Salinger. Not far away, we had Sports right up against the inside rail. Also Upright on the flat side with Milan Princess, and then Miss Cornucova, who got tired. Falvalon was struggling at the 400, weakened out of it, and they were followed home by Flavour towards the back end of the field, and it's pulled up with Adam towards the tail, and also Shy Hero knocked up, and the winner is number 5.
Easy 400 metres on the flat, and the leader is Sports. Miss Cornucova coming home. Bradshaw under pressure. Gallopini is starting to close on them, and Tilt the Scales is trying to push into the clear. On this side, Falvalon and Umrum with Blackbean are coming at them, followed by Adam on the flat end. Sports in front. Tilt the Scales and Easy Rocking is starting to come after Sports, and on this side it's Umrum from Blackbean. Easy Rocking in the middle is coming home, the better in the pack. Easy Rocking won the Salinger. Easy Rocking is first. Great photo of the minors. Umrum on this side.
Towards the tail, and also Shy Hero knocked up, and the winner is number 5.
Easy Rocking, ridden by the pumper Jimmy Cassidy and trained by former champion jockey Ronnie Quinton, and very good win. He got away from a little bit towards the finish stand, and then
went through all that time. He's won a lot of Group 1s himself as a jockey, but now as a trainer, and gee, this horse has got a lot of toughness about him, and he really got the line strong.
Well, I've been proud of Ronnie. He's given me a few goes, and he's the ultimate professional. He never stops talking, and in the respect helping me with the horse.
he left it to me today, and what a great thrill to win for Ronnie.
Yeah, terrific, Jimmy. And
Salinger and the winning trainer Ron Quinton is down here. Congratulations.
Thanks, Peter. Absolutely fantastic.
How does it stack up, winning big races as a jockey compared to winning them as a trainer? Do you get more satisfaction out of this?
I haven't had many chances of winning good ones, but it is very special. It is my first Group 1. He's probably the only horse I've had that was capable of winning a Group 1. And being the spring, there's only one Group 1 sprint around, so it's lovely to prepare him for this. And it does give myself and all my staff a great kick to be able to...
$9.10 and $2.80. Umrum $5.40. He's going to be hard to beat, isn't he, in the Emirates next Saturday. Tilt the Scales $5. Trifecta wasn't impossible, but it was a...
It fell Valon, and it's just been a clean-up day for the bookmakers. They are topping up for Cup Day on Tuesday.
Watching Easy Rocking win, and I was very happy that it did. Kay Callender tipped it, and we had something on it, but... My God, that filly of Gerald Ryan's must be something very special. Yeah. Kamina, I mean, she disposed of that horse fairly easily the other day. Where was it, at Caulfield or something?
Yeah, in the Mercedes-Benz. Unfortunately, she couldn't run yesterday, sent out to the paddock due to a virus. So imagine how Gerald might have been feeling yesterday.
Exactly. I think it really adds weight to Kamina's already impressive record. Yeah.
Ron Quinton's done a super job with this horse. Now, it used to irk me a little that a prominent jockey who doesn't ride for Ron used to say, but he's not a Group 1 trainer. I reckon he's only had one horse in his stable in the 7 years he's training capable of winning a Group 1 race. That's Easy Rocking, and he's won one with him. And Easy Rocking's now won about 700 grand in prize money. He's best still ahead of him, and Ronnie's just trained the horse absolutely beautifully. But to be fair, I've got to say, Richard just said to me off camera, the fact that the sting was out of the ground was a big advantage, and it was. He's definitely a length and a half better horse with the edge off the top of the track. Jim Cassidy looked like getting into trouble halfway down the straight, as you often do in these straight races, but he gave up a bit of ground, come round them, and was still able to pick them up in time. But the wet track helped him.
The Barra Fair stock, as you say, is they do love the ground. Ronnie Quinton is a...
That's what I believe. And Falvalon's Group 1 hoodoo continues.
The photo to be a bit different.
I know one very close to you. It was Tim Gossage, that's right. And can he talk through his kick with the best of them? Land sightings come up $5.40 on the tape for the final event, the Yellowby Stud Stakes, $14 for El Mirada, $7.20 for Seller, $9.80, Tobruk 38, Typhoon Barney 24, and I don't think we've seen the winner yet. Matter of Honour, $10.10.
You're quite keen on him.
I am. He's a lovely horse. He won really well at Caulfield, Jen, and he's bred to be anything, being a half-brother to Might and Power. And Paul Perry just always comes here and wins a race over...
By 16,000 people. The previous record's 76, and today, at the 2000 Derby, there are 92,000 people. Another tribute to the people of Melbourne, and of course...
Thank you, Peter. With Land Sighting, a clear favourite, Group 1 Stradbroke winner, runner-up in an Epsom. She's got some great form around him. $7.70 for Seller. Bit fizzed up a little bit on the way out to the barriers, and he's drifted remarkably on market, particularly Matter of Honour at $7.60, and Maltese Edition has eased out, but it's out to the $20 mark. It's also got pretty good form. So Land Sighting, a clear favourite, not surprising. He's got Group 1 form, Tim Gossage.
Yeah, Dan, it's been a massive go here in the bookmakers' ring. I think punters, whatever they've got left, they've put it on Land Sighting. It's been a huge shortener. And there's been some late money now for number 17, Matter of Honour. It's shortened a couple of points, so really...
Start Stakes, they're off and racing. Beautiful line it was too. We're jumping out pretty quickly now. Matter of Honour's been able to muster up speed with Rancho Spark, and they're vying for the early lead. Saller's up there as well. Just off them, French Clock with Capuna, and then Maltese Edition. Land Sighting's back about midfield in the pink cap, and he just got into a bit of trouble there and had to be checked off heels. Dandy Delirious going back, another one getting into a bit of bother. Land Sighting's in more trouble. Goodness, he's got about 3 checks and 200 metres, Land Sighting, and he's back to third last now. Over on the inside was Confiscator, also struck some bother. Mystic Morse just ahead of them. Promac Bilk, and El Mirada's out to last. Running up to the turn, Matter of Honour a half a length in front of Seller. Tobruk 3 out. They were followed by Capuna, ridden along on the inside of Rancho Spark. Next was French Clock as they made the home turn from Typhoon Barney. Further out on the track was Dandy Kid. Wider still was Bilk. Land Sighting had to switch back to the inside, but he's had no luck. They're well into the straight. Matter of Honour led by a length and a half to Seller under pressure. Then Typhoon Barney, French Clock. Further out was Bilk, and then Maltese Edition. The leader, Matter of Honour, at the 200 is more than 2 in front. Seller can do no more than French Clock, Bilk, and Typhoon Barney, but it's Matter of Honour well out in front, and and it's going to win it comfortably. Great go for the Miners, but Matter of Honor wins by about 4 lengths. Second placing on the inside, Typhoon Barney, just from Acapulco. And then French Clock, Delirious, Almirada, then came Seller from Confiscated, had no luck. Mystic Morse, Landsigning got knocked from pillar to post. May as well have been a Keno ball. And then came Kapuna, Maltese addition towards the back end, and then came Tobruk, Dandy Kid, and Rancho Spark at the tail end of the field.
Bonner is the leader, a length and a half in front of Seller. Typhoon Barney coming through on the fence. Then down the outside is Acapulco with a run, but Matter of Honor still the one to run down at the 200. In fact, he kicked away. He's 3 lengths in front. Typhoon Barney getting up to second. Down the outside, Acapulco, Seller and French Clock, but Matter of Honor is going to be too good. And Matter of Honor takes out the last by 4 lengths. Typhoon Barney grabs second on the rail.
First part of it, but from about the 1200 to the 800, those in the second half of the field, I think a number of them will have hard luck stories.
Yes, got into a lot of trouble, but you can't take anything away from Matter of Honor. He's done all the donkey work, led. Larry Cash just rode him hands and heels, and he's just shot away. He's given him a little cut of the whip there, put it away again.
Tim, Matter of Honor, 750 and 280, number 17.
Well, hasn't that little bloke got his act together? Matter of Honor.
What a win. I mean, it was just so
come of age.
Yeah, it was a great win.
And certainly the bias would have aided his chances yesterday.
Oh, well, I mean, the fast track was against the fence. There's no doubt about that. And Ken's made the point 100 times, and rightly so. I guess
that is. I actually think that horse goes a lot like his brother.
Remember we put the big rap on him after he had his first start at a Canterbury night meeting and looked something special. Well, this is the first time since then. He's a strong bugger too, isn't he? This is the first time since then that he's really got to me again. I reckon he's sure going places. Then don't Paul Perry's horses go well in Melbourne?
Yeah.
As for one of the biggest...
And there's a vast sea of plodders who deserve nothing but mug money at the tote windows. However,
no Lloyd Williams or Kerry Packer at the call of the card, but there were still some big plunges. Esterosa's owner John Capellan backing the Williams Packer horse Enzeli to win $720,000.
Well, we'll see how we go. We'll know tomorrow at about 4 o'clock.
But bookie Michael Iskander expects the millionaires to bet up big tomorrow.
I have no doubt at all that Lloyd will be there tomorrow, and if anything at all, it'll be Enzeli.
The sensation of the day, Caulfield Cup winner Diatribe back to win almost $2 million. Carpstead Way also well supported, and with the track drying, trainer Chris Wood is all smiles.
His pedigree suggests that could be a little bit of doubt, but at the same time he's a blood brother to Saintly, and Saintly got the money, so yeah, hopefully he can follow his footsteps.
Michael Moroney has 3 runners, picking a favourite, his biggest problem.
Probably if you'd asked me last week and the way the weather was going, I would have put Brew in front, but now the weather's come the way it has, I sentimental favourite of mine is second coming, and yeah, possibly I'd put him with the leading edge of my 3.
Lightning Arrow is the least and track good. A record crowd of around 110,000 is expected to pack Flemington for the race that
tried to beat him, and they may swap places by the time they jump tomorrow. Carpstead Way, the favourite last week, is firming as fast as the track. He wasn't going to start if it rained, remember. Punters have kept the foreign horses safe. 3 of them are next in the betting, and there's money for all of them, any worse than its opening call of 20 to 1. They reckon Brew wants a softer track. 2 miles.
Crown have done a fantastic job once again. There was good money held in the bookies who were betting very competitive prices. I reckon they probably bet to about 110% or something like that, which is fantastic. It's better than you'll get on the day, there's no doubt about that.
There's no doubt about that. Diatribe, was that a surprise?
Diatribe was a massive surprise for us. I mean, they've backed it to win $2 million there. I think Dad's standing at himself for 1.5. Easily and clearly the most supported horse out here at the call of the card. It was just fantastic.
Now, the Carpstead Way, lot of small bets on that, but not a huge amount. 110,000 I noticed there. But what'd you make of that?
I thought 8 to 1 was a good price, to be totally honest. I reckon the track's drying up a little bit. I actually thought it'd be shorter than that, and some of the bookies were a bit reluctant. There was only 8 with 1.
Didn't get enough of last week.
Absolutely, and it ran that way as well, didn't it?
Now, early on I noticed, oh yeah, Brew. Now, that was interesting. Drops a lot of weight, but we're not sure how he's come up after Saturday's run. What did you make of the betting there?
Well, what did they have? I think it was 20 to 1 Dad gave. They had 10,000 each way. It was one of the first bets they've had on it. They've probably backed it to win about 300,000 or 400,000. Well, obviously the punters like it, and they thought 20 to 1 was a bit too long, and so they've backed it in. I don't think you'll get 20s on the day. Probably about a 16 to 1 shot.
And up, Alan, where do you think the smart money went today?
Smart money, I know the money that went on Brew wasn't too silly. I think that was good, and obviously Diatribe.
To ride, and of course he was second in the... Karen McAvoy
to ride, and of course he was second in the Moonee Valley Cup and won the Saab Quality.
The bizarre statistic here is that barrier 24 has been the most winning barrier in recent times in the Cup, which is quite extraordinary. He's a horse on the up. He's a very late maturer. He's out of Horlicks, a former Japan Cup winner. Bit of a tip around for him. He might be one that you want to throw in your Quinellas and trifectas.
Well, speaking of which, give us your trifecta.
I'm tipping the steeplechaser or hurdler in number 2 Far Cry. I just think knowing where he'll be in the run is crucial here. He'll make it a strong staying test. He's effective up to... And for third, I am going to stick in one of the bit of odds, number 13, Behemoth.
I'm going Diatribe from Lightning Arrow, Godolphin to run second again with Carpstad Way for third. I hope...
Number 5, and his Cup trifecta, Freemason from Carpstad Way, number 9, and number 13, Bohemian.
Gone for Carpstad Way, the one that they have tried early in the day. Let's see what the Strathfield race predictor has come up with. And number 17, well, here's a surprise, number 17, Hill of Grace, which is...
No doubt about that. We've got the most beautiful weather. The crowd is enormous here. I've never seen anything like it here in Penrith.
The $56 million, Dan Malicki, take us through.
Just watching one of the mares, Pravda, has refused to go out to beat the Celestial Show's playing up pretty badly, so two of the mares are not likening what's going on with them at the moment. Enzelli, $23, number 1, Far Cry, 11, $14 Arctic Owl, Diatribe and Freemason, as you would expect, well in the market. Lightning Arrow, 22, Second Coming, 20, 15 Coco Cabana, $6.40 for Carpstad Way. And then over to Yippee-I-O at $9, has been solid all the way through. Behemoth at 13, one of the major local fancies. $32 for Hill of Grace. This is one of the most fancied there at $17. The only scratching is number 19, so we're left with a field of 23. Pravda now going out onto the betting ring.
Yes, well, they've come for one late, and that is Carpstad Way. He's going to jump the favourite quite clearly down here. It's been the best back runner throughout the morning, and right now Carpstad Way is clearly the favourite. Very good money for one of the overseas horses, Far Cry. It's shortened 3 points, currently $11.50 on the tote, but in the ring 3 points shorter. But Carpstad Way will jump the Cup favourite in 2000.
Top of the straight. There you can see a Melbourne Cup because Pravda has been declared a late scratching. Number 21, Pravda, a ring with the bookmakers is Tim Gold.
Gates crash back, and they're off and racing to an almighty roar. One of the first to appear, Marit Paul. Bohemoth jumped away okay. Freemason forward in the early part. Maguire scooting through from his inside draw. Mr. Nelson wider from Pastor Express. Coco Cabana and Our Unicorn and Brew from wide draws are working across. So as they fan down towards the 600 metres the first time around, it's Maguire with the inside running with Far Cry. Also Marit Paul, Lightning Arrow, Mr. Nelson in the red and white colours. Coco Cabana's about 6 wide. Wider still was Our Unicorn. The Hind and Freemason tucked in just behind the leaders, and Diatribe's up into about 8th placing, 4 deep. 5 wide around him, Pastor Express. The Hind just drifts back there from Hill of Grace. Next was Arctic Owl, a length and a half away through. Over on the fence was Yippee-I-O, and then came Bohemoth, then Zelly. 3 wide Second Coming, a length and a half to Carpstad Way, then Celestial Show. 2 lengths to Citrus Prince, and Old Skybow is last and settles about 15 lengths off the lead, turning out of the straight. 1,200 metres left to travel, and Marit Ford just led. Our Unicorns had no luck, went up on the outside of the leader. Maguire running in 3rd position at the moment, then Far Cry now 3 deep from Mr. Nelson. Freemason's had a good run, 6th on the inside. Lightning Arrow starting to improve. Pastor Express going forward in the orange cap. It's had no luck. It's always been out 4 wide. Coco Cabana's in about 8th or 9th position from Diatribe. Next on the inside, Hill of Grace. Then came the Hind, followed by Arctic Owl. Around the outside, Second Coming from Yippee-I-O. Then Brew, Citrus Prince, a length to Bohemoth. Then Enzelli, Skybow, Celestial Show, and Carpstad Way is still last and would be 12 lengths off the lead. They have 1,000 metres to travel in the Foster's Melbourne Cup. Marit Bourne narrowly in front. Pastor Express now second, has worked hard. Then came Maguire in 3rd spot, followed by Lightning Arrow. Diatribe charging up now out 3 and 4 wide around Our Unicorn. Second Coming is working into the race nicely from Citrus Prince. Freemason is now held up in traffic as Marit Bourne gets ground very quickly. Arctic Owl well back. Far Cry is about midfield running up towards the turn. In fact, he's giving ground very quickly. Second Coming goes up with Citrus Prince to join Diatribe, and Pastor Express turning for home in the Cup. Skybow's made a run around the field. The Hind working into it. Carpstad Way's made up many lengths into the home straight. Second Coming led Citrus Prince. Running on now was Brew. Further out Carpstad Way and Yippee-I-O. Second Coming, 300 to go, led by a length. Brew cutting him down. Further out Yippee-I-O with a run. Second Coming, Brew, and then came Yippee-I-O. It's Brew going to the lead with 150 left to go on the cup. Brew 2 lengths in front now. He's drawing clear of Yippee-Yi-Yo and Brew down to the post. Brew first, 2 lengths to Yippee-Yi-Yo. A photo for third between Second Coming and Calfstad Way. Double followed by Freemason. Arctic Owl next in. Celestial Show behind them. Then Hill of Grace, Pastor Express. Further back to Skybow. Next Maguire. Diatribe dropped out, had no luck, and then the Hind. Further back Citrus Prince, and then ends Ali Never in it. Bohemoth from Mr. Nelson. Our Unicorn, Coco Cabana. Far Cry, one of the first beaten, and Marad 4 over the line in last place in the Foster's Melbourne Cup.
And very quickly has dropped out at the 800. Pastor Express and Diatribe's gone up there fast as they neared the bend. With those as Second Coming around the outside. Here's Citrus Prince coming, followed by Lightning Arrow, then Brew to the outside, and back behind them Calfstad Way is starting a run wide out as they swing the corner, and Freemason getting up on the rail into the straight. Second Coming's taken over the running. Citrus Prince after it, then Pastor Express, and next Diatribe down the outside. Here's Calfstad Way coming, and Yippee-Yi-Yo, but Second Coming at the 300 leads. Coming home well on the outside now is Brew. Calfstad Way's battling away, and Yippee-Yi-Yo. Brew hit the lead at the 200 from Second Coming. The stablemates are clear from Yippee-Yi-Yo, but it's Brew going for home. 100 out. McAvoy wheels a whip, and Brew draws away to win the Melbourne Cup. 2 lengths to Yippee-Yi-Yo second. Second Coming third. Calfstad Way a half head away fourth. They're followed in then by Arctic Owl along the rails from Freemason and Celestial Show. Pastor.
What a ride. Here's Mark Aston.
We've got the owners of Brew. Congratulations. Thank you. It's a great thrill. It's a great thrill. The best race in the world, and we've won it. We can't believe it.
How are you feeling with about 400 metres?
Look, this is like me winning a Melbourne Cup, boys, because I've seen Kieran grow up from the time he could walk. He's one of the McAvoy, the famous McAvoy families. And, oh, boy, this is one interview that I really love doing. Kieran, congratulations, mate. Your first ride to Melbourne Cup, and what about you? You've won it.
Thanks, Johnny. Best feeling ever.
And Mum's here, and
Mum and Dad come over on Saturday.
And Pop?
My nan and Pop, my Pop and my Dad, and my Uncle Tony, all my uncles, have taught me everything, and they're in there in the stands.
Tony,
I think they'll be doing backflips.
Oh, look, how will your grandfather be?
He said he was going to jump the fence if I won the Cup, so he's probably already in the mountain yard. And to win my Melbourne Cup on my first ride, it's just unbelievable. I still don't know I've done it.
And Karen, take us through the race.
Just took it nice and quiet, and there's a whole bunch of them in front of me, so I just come back and got one off the fence near Yippee-Yi-Yo. Had a pretty trouble-free run, just peeled out about 4 deep from about the 800. Followed Citrus Prince. Just bided my time all out the straight. Mike said not to get there too soon. Oh, it's unreal. Fucking best feeling.
It's the Melbourne Cup.
What about my manager, Glenn Darcy?
You've made him $1 million.
Congratulations, mate. Can you sum up the emotions of the moment?
Well, I saw Second Coming take off and looked the winner for a while. I knew he'd done a bit of work, and I saw Brew on his tail, and thought I was going to run first and second there for a while. But yeah, real dream come true. If you ever believe in dreams, I actually trained to win the Melbourne Cup about 3 years ago and didn't train him at that stage. We hadn't even bought him, so just crazy how it's worked out. But just a slow maturing state, it's really come right, and yeah, just great result.
When we spoke on Sunday, you thought that the outside gate might be a blessing in disguise, but it was a brilliant ride by Kieran McAvoy.
It was a very good ride. He got him in a really nice spot, and he didn't panic when things went against him a little wee bit, and a really great ride. Always had faith in Kieran. You know, we had jockey problems during the week and that. A couple of them got offered. We even offered the ride back to Brett Crable.
Brew, $16.90 for the win and $4.90 for the place. $2.90 for Yippee-Yi-Yo and $6 for Second Coming. Quinella, $66.90. The trifecta on the cup, $3,570.20. The running double plate. Every update on the cup, he kept telling us, Brew's been back, Brew's been back. He'd been backed, and he's won the Melbourne Cup now, Tim.
He certainly has, Dan, and talking to just a few of the rails bookmakers, and it wasn't their worst result. They certainly didn't win on the race. They took a lot of money, Diatribe, Freemason, Calfstad Way, but the result was pretty bad anyway, because Brew, we walked in on course 20-1, started officially at 14s. At one stage, it even got as low as 10-1. They did lose plenty on Brew. It was a good result for the punters, and there's going to be plenty of celebration and plenty of brews, I reckon, being consumed around the course and around Australia today, Peter.
Thanks, Tim. Yes, down here there can only be one winner. Of course, that's the cliche, but I think we should still say congratulations to Alan Denham, the trainer of Yippee-Yi-Yo. He ran a mighty race, Alan.
Yes, he tried very hard.
all honest, to the winner. I think we had our chance at the furlong. I think we were pecking back, and then the last little bit he just held us. But
even in second placing today, he nearly died after getting that sickness 3 years ago, didn't he?
Yes, well, that's been well documented. You hate to keep on harping on it, but you never know what might have been if it would never have happened. And
originally 24, but with a late scratching, 23. And as they came down to the judge the first time, there he is, 2 out.
Yes, he rode the horse very well. He did position the horse as well as that horse could have been positioned. You need a lot of luck to do that. Kieran would be the first one to admit that. The field did open up and he did get the right run behind it. But from then on, it's up to him not to panic. And that, I reckon, is a sign of a boy who is going to make the grade as a top-line jockey, because he never panicked, Keith. He just made all...
Boy, enjoying the moment. Look, it's a tough call, but I just wonder whether this was a vintage field. Most of the favourite runners didn't stay. Carpstead Way, Freemason, Diatribe, and the imports, I mean, they perform well and win the big staying races back home, but when they get out here, collectively, they become radish. And it just wasn't a good field. I don't know whether... I mean, congratulations to Brew. He deserved the win. It was appreciated by this record crowd.
Melbourne Cup, wasn't it?
It was an 80s Melbourne Cup, because Brew is not a Saintly, he's not a De Remus, he's not a Might and Power, and I think it just took the cup back to the 80s, but that's the sort of flexibility of this people's race, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think the, you know, it's a triumph for owners who have patience with a horse like Brew. There he is, 6-year-old. It's the biggest race he'll ever win. It was the biggest, of course, it's the biggest race he's won today, because it is the biggest one. But
well, it's inspirational, as you